voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be hungry, but I am somebody. I am black, beautiful, proud. I must be respected. I must be respected.
So we find out today the death of Jesse Jackson. Welcome into the Annie Fry Show. He's 80. He was 84. So I don't think that when an 84-year-old passes, it's completely shocking. But no matter where you come, no matter what position you have on the moment of the day here in 2026, the loss of Jesse Jackson certainly is a very significant loss for this country and for the people who have watched his career over time. I was just talking with you, Brad, before we started. It's interesting you have to understand the difference between Jesse Jackson, Ryan, in the civil rights movement alongside shoulder to shoulder with Martin Luther King Jr., and then compare him to his 1980s, 1990s, however many times he ran for political office, specifically, the president. I think when I look at Jesse Jackson, I'm, in my mind, because I'm 41 years old, so I was born in the mid-'80s. Jesse Jackson, to me, is on the surface level, a political figure who was pursuing becoming the president of the United States. But there is this entire decades of experience of work that was done that I just don't think the people that are my age in our 40s, we don't have the full picture of Jesse Jackson. We have a political context to that, and we have a partisan context to that. But one example that I understand that this is, I don't want this to be offensive to anybody, but I just think that I'm just being honest with you, that Remember the Titans is one of my favorite movies. Have you ever seen it? Tell me you've seen it.
No,
how can you not have seen it?
Wow.
If you want to understand, kind of, it's not really post-civil rights, but that point where you are, after the Civil Rights Act and everything, and America has decided we're going to do things differently right now. Everybody get in line. We're going to do things differently. There is a way to consume an incredible historical telling of a period piece, a moment in time. And it's a brilliant way to do it. And it's based on a true story. I don't think every single thing is there might have been some creative liberties taken in Remember the Titans. But Denzel Washington is a black coach who comes into a school that is going to be no longer segregated. They're going to be blacks and whites on a football team together. Here is a forced opportunity to say, blacks and whites, you're going to play in a football game together, and you got to figure out a way to win. Boy, if you want to boil down a moment in historical time for America and tell it in a, nice and tidy, probably 1 hour and 45-minute story that is compelling, Remember the Titans is tops at that. And my dad played football at Edwardsville High School. I think he graduated in, 70, maybe? So this is that. And, listening to him tell stories about the 1970s and, integration of blacks and whites at the same place. It was really telling to me because I've grown up knowing that was the way that was. That was the 70s. We were born in the 80s. So we have a connection to a time, we are one generation removed from people who understood that blacks and whites drank from different water fountains. And that's just how it was until it wasn't. And when my children, this is incredible. And I hope that you, with your own children, with your grandchildren, have experienced this. When I watched Remember the Titans with my children, my son being maybe 14 the first time we watched it, my daughter being 11, 12, my second daughter being probably 6 or 7. When I watched it with them, they were disgusted at how black people were separated from white people. The story that they were watching and consuming was not believable for them, that this is the way things were. They could not imagine in their mind the idea that black people and white people in a school on a football team together, that would even be a problem. Now, okay, you could come at me and you could say, like, Annie, they should know that that's how it was. Listen, my children understand that people are people. Was that not always the goal? And remember, the Titans is an incredible experience, version, perspective on a moment in time that people do need to remember that happened. And so to me, when it comes to the death of Jesse Jackson, there is a time to like pick apart all the different political statements he's made, moments he's rushed into that felt very much so race-based for the purpose of his participation in it. But on the whole, I think that Jesse Jackson is a monstrous figure in American history, and his death at 84 years old, after decades of advocating for equal rights for people, it's hard for me to fit into context like the full body of work of Jesse Jackson.
Yeah, being born for me, it was 1981. I remember being two things I remember about Jesse Jackson from my childhood. One of them is being in the late 80s, which I would have been 8, 9 years old, something like that. And I remember seeing him on TV, and there weren't any adults around to like help me interpret the news. It was just a moment I was just in the room and the TV was on. And I was watching him, and he was very angry in my childish view of what I was watching. He was very angry.
What year?
This would have been 1988-ish. And I thought, wow, this guy's like really upset. And I remember it being about race. I wouldn't have put it that way at the time, but that's what it was. And
it's interesting, too, to think about like Jesse Jackson. His conversation was about color, not necessarily about race, which was the way things were because we were living in a time where people could look at you, see what color you are, and that was enough to make decisions on people.
And the odd thing is that I remember after that, now this was probably a year or two later, seeing him again and thinking, oh, there's that guy again. And I didn't know who he was. And thinking, oh, he's like still, he was preaching. He was delivering a message on whatever station I was watching news. And it was, again, very angry-ish, as a kid, that's where I would have described it. And I felt targeted by it. It was very weird. And I'm putting language.
Like you had done something wrong.
Like I had done something wrong, but I'm putting language now onto what I was feeling then. I wouldn't have said this then. But I felt like he was telling me that I'm a problem. And I was going, well, I don't like this. I don't really know what did I do? And that honestly was the beginning of me asking questions about, well, who is he? Why is he saying this? Asking questions about race and asking questions about politics. Because later, the second memory I have of him was when I became a teenager. It always bothered me as a Christian to see somebody who called himself reverend, and I never heard him talk about Jesus. He had a social gospel that was very prevalent, but he talked politics almost all the time. And I never knew how to dissect that in my head. Like you say reverend, but you're not really talking about the gospel as I understand it. And that always kind of tugged at me strangely. Yeah.
And that's why I think it's a complicated figure to dissect or discuss on the whole. But I just, I think it's so important to be not open-minded, and it's not really a judgment on Jesse Jackson. It's just like, you want to argue civil rights in the 60s? I think it's safe to say that you, Ryan, you, Brad, and me, myself, we have no idea what that was like.
Yeah, we weren't there.
It's a story that was told and needs to be retold over and over and over again from all the people who are participating, from the black people who are oppressed and just wanted to be able to have an equal rights opportunity in the United States of America, from white people who we're experiencing this very, very contentious moment. A lot of, I'm sure, obviously, white people who agreed with the civil rights movement and wanted to see black people be treated equally with white people. You know, I just think you can't talk about, in my mind, Martin Luther King Jr. without the most important thing that he ever said, is that he had a dream that his children would be judged on the content of their character. Now, how do you hear a statement like that from the premier civil rights leader? As I view it, somebody would, I'm sure, argue that there are more, there's probably some Malcolm X people out there. I don't know how many of them are listening to this show right now, but if you are, I welcome you. But to listen to Martin Luther King Jr. say that his dream was for his children to be beholden to the kind of person they were, not the color of person that they were. That's an American dream. And Martin Luther King Jr. espousing that is what turned out to be the overarching message of his system there. I just think it's compelling to think that that statement in and of itself requires us to understand that obviously no white man is perfect because they're white. No black man is bad because they're black, but the converse is true. No white man is bad just because they're white, and no black man is good just because they're black. That who you are, what you do, how you carry yourself, what you stand for actually matters. And Jesse Jackson was right there with Martin Luther King Jr. for many of those years. So Jesse Jackson dead at 84. Let's take a break. Kush Desai is going to be with us in just a minute. The Deputy White House Press Secretary, is going to discuss an array of issues. Yesterday was President's Day. Can the White House keep up the pace that they have had in the first year? Can they keep up with it? Do they put their pedal to the metal? Kush Desai in just a minute. Next.
American Mortgage. We are in the sixth hottest real estate market in the country, Stewie. What can buyers in St. Louis do to gain that advantage with you?
You know what, Mark? It's real simple. Number one, the Bagel loan. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. The Big Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Take that money you're saving, add it to the bid, beat all the other offers out. Number two, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. What does that mean? We pre-approve you for the maximum amount that you qualify for. You can then go into our portal and edit the letter and raise it or lower it to any amount you want up to the amount you pre-approved. No waiting for the loan officer, no waiting for anybody else. It's all in your hands. And the third thing, we can close in 10 days. That's a big deal. If you go to the seller and say, hey, here's my offer. It may not be the best, but we can close quick. Everybody else is 30 days out. You know it's going to happen quickly with our reputation. Big bam, boom. You got the house of your dreams.
Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
Nothing makes a gathering great like Eggland's Best Eggs. They're just so delicious with better nutrition, too. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs.
Annie Fry is St. Louis conservative.
Trump's big, beautiful bill promised no taxes on overtime. My husband works 6 days a week as a machinist at Anheuser-Busch so that I can stay home and raise our 3 kids that are all under 5. Big, beautiful bill just made it so that he did not have to pay taxes on any of that overtime. Our refund is huge this year. Thank you, President Trump. You came through. We just got a fat check coming our way.
So there you have a lady from Anheuser-Busch. I haven't confirmed certainly that it is AB here in St. Louis, but Anheuser-Busch, of course, near and dear to the St. Louis heart. Big fat check coming their way. And she says she's a woman whose husband is busting his butt to make it so she can stay home and raise a family. And it sounds like the big, beautiful bill led by Donald Trump. President Trump has made it possible for them to really benefit from some of the efforts put in place by this White House. Let's get to our guest. Kush Desai joins us now, Deputy White House Press Secretary on X at Kush Desai 47. Welcome back to the show, Kush. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks for having me on again.
Of course. I have filed my taxes. I have 4 kids, Kush. 2 of the kids were able to be filled out on the tax return for those Trump accounts. For some reason, it wouldn't let me do all 4 at one time through my tax return. But then I went and applied online at the trumpaccounts.gov. And so all 4 of my children are signed up. I think right now people are getting kind of excited about the promises made, promises kept about the Trump administration with some of these things done in the big, beautiful bill.
We love to hear that. And look, I encourage every single one of your viewers as a parent to go right now to trumpaccounts.gov and fill out a Form 4547 and get their kids signed up for Trump accounts too. This is truly a historic investment into our nation's children that was made possible thanks to this president's leadership.
So when it comes to these tax returns, as people start getting in there, getting their taxes filed, do you anticipate people being surprised, especially specifically those who are working overtime, putting in those overtime hours, putting in the tips, the tipped work? Do you think people are going to be kind of shocked, even though you guys have been, beating it into the ground, saying, folks, listen, this is what we're doing for you? What do you think is going to happen when the material meets the road there on these returns coming in?
Absolutely. I think talking about a tax refund and having your taxes cut in theory versus seeing that money hit your bank account or seeing your paycheck every 2 weeks grow bigger, I think there's a very strong difference there. And as you mentioned, especially when you look at some of these specific proposals, like no tax on tip and no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, these are things that people are going to be experiencing, on a biweekly basis. So it's very big news. It's all encompassing. It affects millions of workers, millions of people, including retirees. So this is something that's just going to keep snowballing here. And I think people are going to feel the effects of this more and more, especially as we get underway through tax refund season here. Yeah,
I encourage people to make sure that they're aware of these things going in, but also those Trump accounts. Is the White House happy with the response so far from the Trump account sign up? We've seen Super Bowl ads for it. I've looked at the website, which is where I went to fill out for my second kid, my second pair of children. It's an incredible website. I mean, this blows the Obamacare website out the water. Hopefully you didn't pay $2.5 billion to make that trumpaccounts.gov website happen. But how do you feel about the participation so far?
It's never enough. I think, again, until every single child in America is signed up by their parent for a Trump account, we're not going to be satisfied. And I think what makes this initiative in particular so promising is that this isn't just us here, the federal government, pushing for Trump accounts. This was President Trump's call to action. And you're seeing philanthropists and business leaders across the country. You mentioned that Super Bowl ad, which was financed by Michael Dell, to encourage people to go sign up for these Trump accounts, that philanthropists, that businesses are now contributing. A lot of businesses now are contributing to their employees' children's Trump accounts. Philanthropists are adopting entire states where they're just donating to the children of their entire state, Ray Dalio being one of them. So this is a society, not just a federal government policy, but something for all of society to partake in. And so we're very excited about this, but it's not enough until, as I said, every single child in America has a Trump account, that this is baked into the minds of every single, new and old parent alike to sign up for a Trump account and make sure that their child, is investing in being able to realize the American dream.
We're chatting with Deputy White House Press Secretary Kush Desai. I cannot help but think of, you might have heard of this term, TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. I cannot help but think about families out there right now who hate Trump so much that they would keep their newborn child from having $1,000 in seed money in a Trump account. Is there any concern about people who might just be like, you named a Trump account, we're not interested?
At the end of the day, it's $1,000 from the federal government that's going to grow tax-free. I think at the end of the day, hopefully, your child's well-being, I think, supersedes your political ideology. But this is a policy that's here to stay. We're committed to it, and so we're hoping that people put aside their short-term kind of political annoyances or whatever you want to call it with the president, and realize that this is a president who's working to deliver for their children, and that they shouldn't deprive their children of what this president is working so hard to achieve.
Kush, you got a lot done in the first year. The White House really was at a fevered pace to get a lot of their campaign commitments at least started, some of them completed in the first year of the second term there. I question whether or not you can keep up that pace in the second term, especially with midterms possibly bringing the momentum to a screeching halt if Republicans aren't able to maintain their majority in the House and in the Senate. How is the administration looking to make year two even better than the first?
This administration, the tone and speed of this administration is set by one person, and that's President Donald J. Trump. I think anyone who's ever interacted with him knows that he is just has energy levels that are basically bottomless, unlimited energy. He's the guy who's picking up the phone and working well into 1, 2 a.m., sometimes 3 a.m., and he's up again at 7 or 6 a.m. working again. And so he's at the top setting this speed, and the rest of us are. Admittedly, some of us are maybe a little struggling to keep up with the pace, but we are not taking our foot off the gas here. It's all gas and no brake. And so, yes, we achieved so much in the first year, I should say, whether it be, legislating the one big beautiful bill and these Trump accounts and the no tax on tip and overtime and Social Security, whether it be completely securing our border, signing over a dozen trade deals, cutting hundreds and thousands of regulations, but there's still much more work to do. I mean, for instance, real wages for the American worker have gone up by $1,400 in the past year. But that's still only half of the $3,000 that in real wages that Americans lost during the Biden administration. So the president's focused on recouping that last half, that last $1,600, and then making sure the American worker is bigger and better off than ever before. So we're all gas, no brake here into year two.
Kush Desai speaking with us right now. Kush, do you feel as though the midterms is it something that is, at the forefront of how this administration is functioning right now? Is there worry? Is there excitement? How would you measure the administration's mindset and energy right now as we march towards November?
Our mindset is focused on one thing, and that's delivering progress and prosperity for the American people. And to the extent that that's politically advantageous, that's great. But our focus is on making sure that Americans are safe, that Americans feel strong, that Americans feel wealthy again. And so everything we do is focused on how do we best deliver for the American people. And I think as far as the strategy goes, we want the proof to be in the pudding. And so we're focused on delivering even more results for everyday Americans.
Okay, so here's another question. The SAVE Act. It's something that we've seen Senator Mike Lee really pushing hard in the Senate, and one by one he continues to pick up Republican participation, including that of Susan Collins, which was kind of a surprise. John Fetterman seems to think that it is a reasonable idea, a law that already exists, that you have to be a citizen in order to vote. This is just the element needed to prove it. How does the White House feel about the effort behind the SAVE Act? And is this a pull out all of the stops moment where the White House wants to see the Senate do everything they can, prioritize this potentially into the place where everything else comes to a screeching halt if that standing filibuster is implemented? How important to the White House is the SAVE Act and passing a voter ID law?
Here's the thing. You mentioned that John Fetterman thinks it's a good idea, and it's not just John Fetterman. It's the vast majority of American people who agree with these common sense reforms and protections for the integrity of our elections. And that includes the majority of Democrats even. So this is something that's just a common sense proposal to safeguard our elections and the security of our elections and the integrity of our elections. And the American people are fully behind it. So it's not even about what the White House thinks in this case. It's that the overwhelming majority of the American population agree with what's in this bill. So I think we're counting on the Senate to do the right thing here and get this over the finish line. So again, Americans can have confidence in our nation's elections.
Kush Desai speaking with us right now, Deputy White House Press Secretary. Last question before we let you go. We're really grateful for the opportunity to connect here with the White House to get a little bit of a behind-the-curtain look at where you all feel about the direction that this country is headed in and the efforts of the campaign turned second term to get the job done that you committed to the American people. I think one of the biggest and possibly bipartisan interests of the American people right now is to dig deep into the fraud that exists nationally. Minnesota seems to be the center stage moment right now in the spotlight for the fraud that is existing there. I'm a resident of Illinois. I would love to see investigations deep into the muck of the state that has captured our ability to be, I think, fairly represented in the state of Illinois. What is the focus right now? What's the priority of the White House to ensure that every fraudulent dollar that they can suss out is going to be sussed out for the American people, to make sure that when you do take our tax dollars, when that does end up being the policy of the government, Republican or Democrat alike, we know that those tax dollars are actually going to benefit the American people who are paying them?
President Trump has been talking about wanting to slash waste, fraud, and abuse in our federal government apparatus, even on the campaign trail. And this has been a day one priority for the entire administration. And so I think in the coming weeks and months here, you're going to see a trickle, even more announcements from other agencies. I mean, you've seen, for instance, the Department of Health and Human Services crack down on Medicaid fraud. I think you're going to start seeing other agencies start unveiling what their findings and their crackdowns as well. I think, again, this is an administration-wide priority. Well, we want to ensure that not only are we saving taxpayer dollars, but the integrity of these programs that real Americans rely on is not violated by nefarious bad actors. And so this is a focus. This is something we're going to continue putting in time, energy, and resources into. And it's something that's for the better of the American people. So, again, I would stay tuned here. I think we'll start seeing more and more announcements, like I said, in the coming weeks and months.
Oh, we are watching with bated breath. Kush Desai, so grateful for your time today. We appreciate the ability to connect the American people with what is going on there in the White House and your perspectives. Please come back again soon. It was good to speak with you.
Of course. Anytime.
Take care. Bye-bye. All right. That's Kush Desai, the Deputy White House Press Secretary. Good answers, I think, on all fronts. Any concerns with what he had to say there?
No, I just got real excited about my tax return, because I forgot that is coming up soon.
You're pumped.
I
got mine in.
Together.
Mine was bigger. It was not. I will tell you right now, and I'm kind of preparing people. I think you have to think about the tax returns and the policies. This is where I'm like, dude, I wanted my tax return to double. But this is where I want folks to think about the perspective of who this tax return is targeting. Because what do we hear from the left? Just this stupid zombie-like, it's like AOC in Munich. I digress. That was a direct quote. That wasn't actually me doing the derpy derp. That was actually a quote from AOC talking foreign policy. That was
sound that Brad had cut.
Yes, derp, derp, burp.
Brad, can you give me the derp sound?
I think you just had it. People talk, you hear about these big tax returns that are coming. What does the left always say that the Republicans are going to do when it comes to tax breaks?
They're going to give tax breaks only to their rich friends.
Yes. Now, here's the deal. I'm a middle-class income earner. My husband is a public school teacher. I am maybe one of 4 people in the country who is like, public school teachers make a lot of money considering what they have to do. I don't think, could you pay them more? If you can afford it. If the people of the district can afford it, okay, fine. But I'm not here to complain about the amount of money that my husband makes as a public school teacher. We make a respectable middle-class earning. Our tax return was up. The child tax credit, we got 4 kids. The only reason I have all these kids is for tax credits.
Yeah, me too.
That was where I thought, I did the math, and I'm like, this should be lucrative for me. $200 extra per kid.
You've come out ahead.
In blessings, which have not completely turned into tax credits, but a little bit. 800 bones on the tax return extra in my pocket. My tax return did go up. I am grateful for that. But this is where I'm like, I want to tell the lefties, lean in, come close. No, a little closer. Lean in, put your listening ears on. The tax return benefit is largely going to people who are middle class, lower middle class, who are working service jobs, who are being tipped, who are working their butts off to put in the overtime. Those tax returns, just like we played Miss Anheuser-Busch wife who said her husband works 6 days a week so that she can stay home and raise their multiple kids. Big, fat tax return, end I quote, that she just said there. That is not upper class. That is not the higher income earners or the super filthy rich. I don't get paid. I don't work and get paid for overtime. I have to do my job. I think, is that exempt or something like that? I don't remember what the term is. But I don't work an hourly job where if I put in a 12-hour day, I don't get paid anymore for those extra hours. I don't get paid for overtime. So I'm not going to get the tax return boost on the overtime hours that I maybe worked but didn't get paid for, because that's not the nature of the construct of my business. If I'm working an hourly job, if I'm picking up extra shifts at Anheuser-Busch, if I'm picking up extra shifts at Texas Roadhouse, if I am, working in a capacity where I'm picking up extra shifts at Texas Roadhouse and I'm getting tipped, folks, your tax return is going to be very kind to you, which means that the people who passed this bill have not been kind to you because it's your money. I digress. You're going to be able to keep more of that because the policies that have been put in place have made that so. So I'm kind of trying to manage expectations that people who are going to see like enormous increases in their tax return, these are middle-class people. And like the left is completely missing out on this.
It always amazed me growing up, being somebody who's fourth generation steelworker, that when people would say, oh, this will benefit the working class. And I was like, what is there other than the working class? I don't understand what you mean when you talk about there are other people. Every single person I know in my entire life works for a living.
There are, well, maybe that's the circles that you travel in. There are people who are filthy rich, who are connected, who are job creators, who are making, like obnoxious amounts of money that we could never even possibly understand. Donald Trump was one of those people.
Yeah.
And he will go, and this is what Dave Chappelle said on Saturday Night Live. He earned respect for Donald Trump when he was in the debate against Hillary Clinton. And they were going back and forth about tax breaks and tax credits for the filthy rich. And Hillary Clinton was like talking about different tax breaks that Donald Trump has said. And Donald Trump was like, yeah, I'd take them. It's legal to take them. The difference between me and you is that all of your friends and all of your donors take them, and you're out here lying to the American people, trying to criticize me for that. I know the system. I use the system in a way that legally, financially benefits me. I know where all the loopholes are, and I'm the one who will actually consider closing them, whereas you will talk out of your mouth here now and suggest that I'm the bad guy, why all the people, Hillary Clinton, in your orbit are doing the exact same thing. That was where Hillary Clinton was made to be a hypocrite, and folks like Dave Chappelle looked at him as like, that's a stone cold stunner right there. 100%. Let's take a break. YouTube live chat poll for today, in light of President's Day being yesterday. Is Donald Trump a top 3 United States president? Giving you a little elbow room there for George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, and one Donald Trump. Or Woodrow Wilson, whoever is your bag. Yes or no, is Donald Trump a top 3 president? Let us know in the YouTube chat. Also, text us at 314-241-9797. Back in a minute. Well, Point Pest Control, point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com. Have you called them yet? When you contact Point Pest Control, you're reaching out to people who know how to get rid of pests. And that's what they do. That's their job. They do all sorts of different things. Right now, we're approaching March. March is for spiders. Boo. Is any month like 4 spiders? Point Pest Control will tell you that March is when those spiders are maybe going to linger in your home a little bit more with the temperature changes potentially. You are very, very, if you are very, very opposed to spiders the way I am, like very, very, very opposed to spiders, and you don't want to see one is too many, Point Pest Control is there to help you. Now, if you have a bigger problem than just one, and I guarantee you if there's one, I don't know how many, don't tell me. I don't want to know the answer to that. But if you've got ants, if you've got crickets, if you've got the things that have way too many legs, I don't know how many legs they have. They're too many. You want Point Pest Control to come in and make sure your house is pest-free. It's really that simple. And a reminder, they do residential and commercial alike. 636-798-0023, 636-798-0023. Throw the name Annie out there and save 10% on the top of the best deal they have going on. Point with an E, pointpestcontrol.com.
This is attorney Todd Nissenholtz of Kaufman Townsley. When you're injured in a car accident, insurance adjusters are not on your side. They're always adjusting their settlement offers, lower and lower. We'll get your settlement higher and higher. Call 314-777-7777.
If you're looking for the best eye care in St. Louis, look no further than the doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andrew Royer. Make your appointment today at youridoc.com or call 314-966-5000. Ophthalmology Associates.
If I could be you.
And you could be me?
For just 1 hour.
If you could find a way.
To get inside each other's mind.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out. And for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
It's a great time, if there's ever a great time, to purchase a furnace or an air conditioner. I know it's winter. We got some great pricing. You can get 0% financing. So if you have been told that you need a new furnace, definitely give me a call. I could probably save you lots of money. Get a second opinion. Call me. Next day installs for your furnace so you won't be without heat. Very long. A furnace average install about 2-3 hours for a furnace. So not a big issue to do it now. And like I said, great pricing. So if that's you, call me. It's Bart Inman. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Just the easiest number. And there's one. 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600. Or on the internet, it is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
Are you nearing retirement and wondering if you're truly prepared? Sue Thomas here. And when it comes to retirement planning, keep in mind Financial and Tax Architects, FTA, has helped families all across St. Louis plan to retire with clarity and confidence. FTA specializes in creating tax-efficient retirement strategies, showing you how and when to claim Social Security, and building an income plan designed to last as long as you do. Now, they have a Retirement Planning 101 class. It is eye-opening. It's 2.5 hours. It's offered on campuses of colleges throughout the area. No cost or obligation, but you're going to learn how to avoid costly mistakes, reduce unnecessary taxes, and make your money work smarter in retirement. Call 314-888-5101 or visit fta-ria.com to reserve your seat today. Space fills quickly, so don't wait. Take that first step toward a more confident retirement.
Today's YouTube live chat poll: is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? It's a thinker. It's a yes or no, but it's a thinker. Is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? This one comes from our text line, 314-241-9797. It says Donald Trump has to be number 1. Woo! There is no way that any other president in history devotes this much time to fixing issues and having so much opposition. Interesting take.
Abraham Lincoln had a wee bit of opposition and fixed a few issues.
Yeah. You know, all we're asking is top 3. This person is saying has to be number 1.
So he's a yes.
I think he or she is a yes, whoever you are. Thank you for texting. 314-241-9797 if you'd like to text in, or, of course, you can leave a comment on our stream, which is live every day. It is 12:42 right now. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Where common sense rules the mic. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Kush Desai just with us, Deputy White House Press Secretary, talking to us about a whole array of issues. The passing of Jesse Jackson was a news headline for today. 84 years old, and he has passed away. We're going to speak with Jim Talent at 1:05. We're going to speak with Hogan Gidley at 1:30. So I'll be interested to hear Hogan Gidley's perspective of where the Trump administration is going at this point. further. And Jim Talent, of course, plenty to discuss with him. Iran is popping, and the president is trying to navigate a whole bunch of different things. But Marco Rubio was in Munich this weekend, and I've tried like 4 times to listen to his speech that everybody is raving about, really kind of setting the tone of what America First policy looks like, but also the understanding that one of the things that I gathered from it, and I haven't listened to the whole thing, was he keyed in on migration of people and basically said it's okay to have your own culture. This idea of global citizenship, not for America. And I think that it's an important key point to be able to look at that as a philosophy, to suggest that like having your own culture and your own heritage is something to be celebrated and is not exclusive just in the basis that it exists. And I think it's quite interesting to compare, like think about don't answer this question, but think about right now. If you were to think about somebody who is really incredibly proud of and celebratory of their heritage, think of a place where that is. Got one?
In America or just in
No,
general?
in the world.
In the world.
Think of people who are like the traditions, the heritage, the genealogy, the importance of the historical and heritage based identity.
Yes.
Think of somebody.
Got it.
Brad, you got somebody? You got like a culture? Or
Yep.
Okay. Who's yours?
Japan.
Japanese people.
Yeah.
There is something important, unique, traditional, and celebrated about being Japanese.
Yes.
That is unique to Japan.
And in fact, it was just threatened heavily in the last couple years, and they just elected a super, super conservative government.
And the Japanese people would be proud of what is uniquely Japanese.
That's exactly right.
Brad?
Mine is any Latin American country, but Mexico is what popped into my mind first. They are incredibly proud of their national heritage. Mexican flags flying everywhere. Even like Mexican Americans, they're proud of their Mexican
2
heritage.
Independence Days.
We should have more.
Yeah, let's have a few.
Honestly, I'm going to blow your mind, people. We kind of do.
Mm-hmm.
July 4th and Juneteenth are both incredibly important days in American history, and we do celebrate both of them. And if everybody is like falling off their rockers right now because I just said Juneteenth is a really important date, do some research on it. You're going to love Juneteenth. I say, I understand why Juneteenth is a national holiday right now and everything, which was made a national holiday by whom? Was it not Trump?
I don't remember.
Google it. I think it was Trump. I'll stand corrected if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Trump. But Juneteenth is the day that the last people found out that the slaves had been freed. Juneteenth is where the Civil War finally reached all the corners of organized, civilized America. And those people who I believe were in Texas discovered we won the freaking war. We're free. Fight me on whether we should celebrate that. Heck yeah. Let's celebrate that. In addition to all of that, when I think it's amazing to me that you picked an Asian culture, you picked a Latin culture, because I was going to say Italians.
Oh, yeah.
Germans, Irish,
Welsh.
Welsh.
I mean, that's within Britain.
Russians. I'm sure that if you were to go French, like these people, so Europe here, Asia for you, Latin America for, and South America too, as well. All of these people would say something like, I'm Italian. And then they'd fill in the blank about something that is incredibly wholeheartedly Italian. And we would be like, that's true. That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell does it mean to be American? And why are we the ones who are supposed to apologize for it?
Well, the only ones.
The Germans are proud of being German. If you want to, and I am super German. If you wanted to have to be permanently forever apologetic about your history or a moment in your history, You would think that Germany would be at the front of the freaking line, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe there's some Mussolini Italians that might have to share some of that space whatsoever. I can think of some Chinese dynasties. You think the Chinese are proud of their culture? I can think of some Chinese dynasties that if we were living in a real, if reality was, if you ever had a great sin upon your people, that the only thing you were ever able to do was be completely and totally apologetic, sit down and shut up, and let the people who have never done anything wrong come to the front of the line. I'm waiting. I mean, come on. So what is uniquely American? Certainly isn't cowboys, but we'll get to that.
Apple pie.
Dang right.
And
baseball.
Baseball and
American football.
And cars.
Capiche? This is not the whole point of this conversation, but American football is a celebration of Americans, and Americans in the context of American American football is a celebration of the United States. It's what we have to offer the rest of the world. And if the United States is bringing in American football to the rest of the world, cool. But, let's bring the United States with it. As opposed to say, once again, here you are, the United States, and the onus is on all of us to act like all of them, and whoever them is all over the world. It's not any one particular culture. What if, with American football, that we're exporting around the world, I have my thoughts about that. What if we exported our culture too with it? But no. United States Americans, you sit down and listen to this música. You have to say it like that.
This is such an important conversation to have right now in America.
Thank you. Let's end it. Time to go to break for Wiggins America.
I understand, yeah. But it's time for Wiggins America.
You guys, he hits me if I don't break in time.
I do not do that.
It hurts. My heart, not really physically. It's kind of weak.
Yeah.
Why'd you think she was talking about you?
Because she was looking at me and pointing at me when she said he hits me.
I was talking about Ryan. He hurts me on the inside.
I do not even hurt you on the inside.
Ryan,
either.
why do you beat women? We'll be right back.
Year, nominate a first responder and their department could get lunch from Grill Master Tony's. I'll personally deliver it. Share their story at 971talk.com. Nominate them today.
When my wife and I got married after both graduating law school, we didn't have two nickels to rub together. Ultima had to give me her gas card just to drive home. We never could have imagined that one day we would have the largest injury firm in the world and $25 billion in money collected and counting. As good Catholics, we had 4 children fast. They all work in the firm today. Our family protecting yours. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. But our greatest gift was years away, grandchildren. Today we have 6 and counting. It's the greatest joy that we have ever experienced. I think about them all day long. Our family promises to protect your family should you need us. Call us. It's easy. Visit forthepeople.com and make sure you hug your grandchildren. God's final gift to us. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative.
Wiggins. Monday round. This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
I have pretzels in my mouth right now.
Enjoy.
No, I know I should, but there is no more produced part of this show than Wiggins America. Go on.
Especially on a Tuesday. Because then you go, man, he put in extra work.
So accurate.
Yes, he did.
Is Tuesday the day? Like, if I want something done, should I ask on a Monday so it gets done on a Tuesday?
Oh, no, because I probably did that open on a Monday years ago.
Also true.
These are stories that happened at least in the last few days, maybe not perfectly weekend, but we're close.
All right,
Stuff
starting to slip here.
Stuff that slipped through
These
the cracks.
These are stories that happened.
These exist, and we haven't maybe discussed them as well as we should have. How about this? Puerto Rico governor signs bill recognizing unborn babies as human beings.
Ooh, that's troublesome.
Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico.
They have, thank you. Can you do the interpretation as I go?
Yeah, that means Puerto Rico.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Puerto Rico's Republican governor Okay. On Thursday, signed a bill that amends a law to recognize an unborn baby as a human being.
Was Puerto Rico the only area that didn't vote for Joe Biden for the nomination? Some guy named John got the vote instead. I can't remember.
Wasn't that American Samoa? I
Oh,
can't
yeah,
remember.
yeah.
Was it? Okay.
Very useful.
You're welcome.
I didn't say thank you.
Well, you're still welcome. Opponents argued this could eventually lead to outlawing abortion in that whole U.S. territory. This is a very, very interesting turn of events because, as I understand it, Democrats were trying to add Puerto Rico as a state to add senators. And here we have a Republican governor signing a very, very conservative bill here, Senate Bill 923. That's a good news story. And I just wanted to highlight it. Next one, this one's just as good.
That's really the thing that has been missing in the whole fight against abortion is the determination of when life begins. Because is it going to get challenged in court? Yes. But what is the Supreme Court going to rule on when it gets to there?
Right.
Because murder is illegal. Well, how do you determine if it's murder or not? You have to understand what is or is not being killed.
Yes, exactly. And there is a lot of precedent considering that if you kill a woman who's pregnant, that's a double homicide.
Yep.
A lot of precedent for the law acknowledging that a baby in the womb is a baby, is a person.
Duh.
It seems like a weird transition, but I'm just going to have to go with it.
There's only one way to do it. Through.
This is from the New York Post. It says, we fart twice as much as previously thought.
Speaking of pregnant women.
Oh, really?
Oh,
do tell.
You've never heard that?
No, I didn't know that. We fart twice as much as previously thought, scientists discover from new smart underwear.
This is outrageous.
While breaking wind could help protect against Alzheimer's and postpartum depression, there can be too much of a good thing. They're doing this research based on those things, by the way. Scientists recently discovered that we're passing gas a lot more often than previously thought, thanks to some smarty underpants.
It's because everybody's full of crap.
Yeah, it turns out that previous research said we had 14 toots per day.
Toots? My
and
word.
It's roughly double that. It's actually a little more than double that. It's about 32 farts per day.
Toots.
As the underwear has determined.
Smart underwear.
I can't believe that researchers would have people lying downward about how many times, if you're just keeping a journal. Just tell us how many times. Okay, I think it was about, 14, and that seems generous.
This
no,
lady
sir,
said 0.
It was 32. Yeah, all the ladies say 0. What's up with that?
Never done it.
Never done it. We'll hear more about that on the other side of the break. What?
Completed projects and let you see what other people are doing, and then you can make it your own. When they do their work, they give you a 5-year labor warranty and a comprehensive material warranty, and they're highly rated with the Better Business Bureau, of course. Reach out to them today. Tell them you heard about it from Mark Cox. You're going to get 48 months interest-free financing on your next project. Go to chesterfieldfence.com.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. Have you reached out to Matt Hayes yet? I hope you have. But if you haven't, here's the number once again to call for your foundation concerns for your basement, cracks in your walls, or compromised foundation that you might have. Maybe it's got water being let in. 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com is the website that shows all the different types of foundation help that they can provide you. And the thing that I appreciate the most about being able to connect you with Home Shield is that Matt Hayes is a reasonable and reliable guy. And I think that when you're trying to make a decision on something that you know is going to be an investment, you want a few things. You want to make sure that you're getting quality service, that when you invest in this, it's going to deliver. And if you're getting your basement waterproofed with Home Shield Foundation Repair, how about adding in a lifetime warranty? Matt Hayes is the guy. 314-271-9900, homeshieldfoundationrepairs.com.
Ever felt a nagging toothache or maybe a sensitive spot? It's frustrating, right? But don't let that worry hold you back. This is Dr. Michael A. White. I am dedicated to providing gentle, affordable dental care that puts your comfort first. Our experienced team and advanced technology will ensure a smooth, relaxing experience. It's just common sense. Don't hurt the patient. Call my office at 314-270-8552. That's 314-270-8552.
We all have different ideas of the perfect retirement, but they all depend on the same thing, not running out of money. And preparing for retirement can sometimes be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Find out how to build your retirement on your terms.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different.
Join host Steve All for the All Financial Hour, Saturday mornings at 6 or Saturday afternoon at 4, here on 97.1 FM Talk.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
No DNA match in the Guthrie case. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. 17 days into the case, investigators come up empty, examining a glove that was found during the search for Today's Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, in Arizona. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos tells Fox.
The DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS, and I just heard that CODIS had no hits.
CODIS is the Combined DNA Index System, a database managed by the FBI. The sheriff says a blue shirt found not far from a trail of blood drops was left behind by a member of a U.S. Border Patrol canine team. There were a few more hours of U.S.-Iran nuclear talks today in Geneva, Switzerland. Fox's Trey Yinks reports.
A U.S. official texted me saying progress was made, but there are many details still to discuss. The Iranians said they would come back within the next 2 weeks with more detailed proposals about the gaps that still need to be bridged.
And Iran's foreign minister says today's talks were more constructive than the first round earlier this month. One of the main public faces of the Trump administration's deportation operations is leaving her job.
Tricia McLaughlin is stepping down as the top spokeswoman for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, a frequent face and voice in the media tasked with defending the Trump administration's immigration policies and their DHS enforcement operations. McLaughlin had planned her departure since last December, but will officially end her time there next week. Prior to her work with the Trump administration, she served as a top communications aide to Vivek Ramaswamy Swami's presidential campaign in 2024. Eben Brown, Fox News.
President Trump calls the Reverend Jesse Jackson a good man and a force of nature. The civil rights leader died today, 84 years old, in Chicago. He was a protege of Martin Luther King Jr., and his niece Alveda King says from her conversations with Jackson,
he would probably encourage us to work to unify and stop fighting each other today.
She was on Fox and Friends. America's listening to Fox News.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Micro, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Micro, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A fair share of clouds this afternoon. Let's call it partly to mostly cloudy. Even though I'm going 66 for the high, it's going to feel a little cooler than that. Cloudy skies and breezy tonight, 56 Wednesday. Partly sunny skies, still windy, 72 for the high, the record 74. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower Thursday, but still quite warm, 73. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your furnace breaks down, call Air Comfort Service for a $99 call. And don't forget, if your furnace breaks, even on a weekend, Air Comfort Service offers 24/7 emergency service. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
We want allies who can defend themselves so that no adversary will ever be tempted to test our collective strength. This is why we do not want our allies to be shackled by guilt and shame. We want allies who are proud of their culture and of their heritage, who understand that we are heirs to the same great and noble civilization, and who together with us are willing and able to defend it. And this is why we do not want allies to rationalize the broken status quo rather than reckon with what is necessary to fix it.
That is Marco Rubio, and we have Jim Talent on the phone, former U.S. Senator from Missouri, former Congressman, chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council. Hi, Jim.
Hey, Ryan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing okay. Can you summarize what Marco Rubio is doing right now, what he's saying?
Yeah, I mean, he is giving a framework and clarifying to the Europeans what our global strategy is, what role we think they should be playing in it for our interests and their interests as well. And he is, as a friend, giving them in a diplomatic way, kicking them in the butt. You know, I've done a couple interviews in this, and I made the point that I've had times in my life when people who really love me pulled me aside and said, you know, you got to stop acting like this. And this is basically what Rubio did. It's what Speaker Johnson did to the House of Commons. It's what Trump and Vance have done. President Trump, of course, in his own way. And the Europeans need to hear the message. And I loved it when Rubio said, stop being so ashamed of your own countries and your own civilizations. I mean, there is no basis in history for that. And it's debilitating. And then, he gave some of the examples of their biggest failures in the last few years. So, yeah, I thought it was a very good speech. And I think, there's a lot of people in Europe who are taking this to heart. Okay. People should not be deceived by, reading what the big shots are saying. There's a lot of, people in Europe. Rubio went on to Hungary, where he received a very warm reception. It's not the only place.
Senator Talent, I like hearing this because when I see snippets, I'm like, well, what's really at play here? Because I see the left and people in general just sort of criticizing Trump as they do. They're going to criticize anything Trump does, but saying, oh, he's stepping all over our allies. You're saying that's not at all what he's doing. He's actually trying to increase the relationship, better it.
Yeah, the issue is the tension is primarily with Europe. The United States is very popular in the Middle East with everybody, not just Israel. Trump is a god in Israel. Trump could get elected to anything in Israel. He and we are very popular in Eastern Europe. The Italians like us, the Finns, and in Asia, we've developed a very close relationship with Japan. We've always had it, but it's deepened the other countries because they want to deal with somebody who has a policy, who is pursuing common interests and doing it in an intelligent way. And I just add that we have needed since the end of the Cold War, and this is a literal statement, and the Berlin Wall fell in 1989. We have not adjusted our foreign policy to the realities of the post-war world. You cannot protect your security and advance common interests by relying totally on international institutions, which are not accountable. They have no ability to enforce. They can't solve the big problems. The nation states have to be the anchor, and nation states working together based on common interests, common visions, That's what the Trump administration is about. And this is 30 years overdue. I mean, it really is. I wrote articles about this like 15 years ago. We were wandering around in the desert without a strategy in the world. So I like to see it, and it's working. You see it in various parts of the world.
Well, that's okay. That's my next question for you, because you just said it's working. We're 1 year into Trump's second term anyway, separated by a Joe Biden 4 years, which I think probably didn't further any of the things that we're talking about right now. But how is it working? And where do you see Trump's strategy working? Is it with Europe? I mean, are they stepping up to the plate?
Well, we've identified what the major threats are and what the highest order means are that we're going to use to deal with those threats. So let's just take the danger of narco-terrorism in the Western Hemisphere. And people ought to understand this isn't just drug gangs, as bad as that would be. I mean, the drugs are a big part of the problem and the most direct threat. These are, in essence, irregular armies that are heavily networked with certain states in Latin and South America and are allied with aggressive powers around the world. For example, Venezuela has an island, Margarita Island, off the coast that is basically a Hezbollah outpost, because these terrorist groups get a lot of their revenue, not all of it, but they get a lot of their revenue from laundering money, from being engaged in the drug trade, et cetera. So you see what we are doing there, right? The idea is to get these regimes, like in Venezuela, to play ball with us, which will also, in time, lead to them moving more towards democratic institutions. You see the pressure we're putting on Cuba, cutting off the oil. And if you Google it, you'll see a lot of articles saying that that regime is closer to the edge than it ever has been. I don't have to talk about the Middle East, which is we have a chance now to end the Iranian threat, to stabilize the Middle East, and even to solve the issues with Gaza. And we are at least partly going to solve it. The part that Israel is occupied, I believe, is going to become peaceful, de-radicalized, and then will be developed. You know, our real estate president has great plans for developing that part of Gaza. You know, when he retires, he may go over there and build some hotels. I mean, who knows? We're on the path to ending the war in Eastern Europe, which everybody agrees now needs to end, and in a way that protects the security and sovereignty of Ukraine. Now, the Indo-Pacific is much more complicated and more difficult, but we are shifting the conflict with China into the economic domain, where we have an advantage, and away from the military domain. And we've been strengthening ties with allies and partners based largely on economic opportunity for them. So I mean, Japan is obvious, right? But also Malaysia, Vietnam. Remember when the president went over there and signed all these deals?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good economically. Many of those deals, by the way, had to do with critical minerals, because one of the threats we identified, and they're right to identify it, is we need to become self-sufficient in certain areas or have secure supply chains. Critical minerals, like number one. Chinese have a throttle, a chokehold on rare earths. So we're firming up alliances. We're rebuilding the maritime industrial base so that we can compete in terms of naval power, because it's a maritime domain in the Indo-Pacific, and we're off-footing the Chinese by shifting the conflict into the economic domain. So none of this is without risk, but we were in a period of high risk anyway. So I see the path in all these areas, Ryan. I see the policy. I see the path. Other countries do as well. And they're reassured when America is strong and acting purposefully, everybody except the bad guys is reassured around the world.
Senator Jim Talent on the phone with us. Let me ask you more about China, because a lot of the moves that we see going on, whether it be Venezuela, Greenland, they seem to all have China and Russia in the crosshairs. But you said economically that the point is to isolate them, to put them in the corner. Is it working? Because it's really hard to know with China. They guard everything so much, it's hard to know what's going on internally. Are Trump's policies economically working with China as you see it?
Well, Trump understands they need our domestic market more than they need their domestic market. We need theirs, and we're not going to get it anyway because they fence it off. We have more leverage points economically, but they are very capable, and they threatened us on rare earths earlier in the year. So where we are now with this is, I think both sides wanted a lull for this year, and that's where we're at. That aspect of the competition is not that sharp right now, which is, I think, good for us, is fine for us. Now, if what you're asking is, are we weakening them economically? I think they have a number, and our people realize this, they have a number of real serious economic problems on their own. They don't have just a list. They don't have a stable legal system. They don't have a banking system that can price risk. They can't afford to open up the capital flows because all the capital would leave the country. Their population is aging even faster than ours. They have a very unbalanced economy, and they have a huge environmental damage. They are not 10 feet tall. And if we can continue and prosecute this competition in an intelligent way without it breaking out into open war over Taiwan, that's primarily the flashpoint. You can ask AOC about that. She knows all about
I was going to ask you about that.
I mean, that was one. I mean, let's not even go there.
Okay.
So
I'll mark that off.
Yeah, the idea is to channel this competition into areas where we have more leverage points and basically outlast them, as we did the Soviet Union. And Trump is building a national security architecture that will enable us to do that. We're at the early stages. This is not going to be over by the end of his presidency, by no means. Everybody expects it to go on for decades. But we're doing what we need to do. We might even get a much bigger Navy soon. You've heard the president's taken a personal interest in the maritime industrial base. We have to start building ships. That is a real task. I've said on the show before, power is a product of intention and capability. Well, you can change intention quickly. We've done that. But capability takes you. I can't flip a switch and produce a missile frigate. I can't do it.
Senator Jim Talent, since I'm not going to ask you about AOC now, I only have one more question for you.
Okay. All right.
It's about Iran. What is going to happen? Is Trump posturing right now? He certainly has the credentials. We've all seen that he's willing to take military action much more in this term than he had in his last term. So he's got the cred. He can strike some fear into enemies at this point really easily. Is he going to actually do anything in Iran?
Yeah, I think eventually we're going to strike. I think what he's doing, and I suggest readers who are interested in this, go back and reread, if you haven't, The Art of the Deal. Read it again. He's talking a lot about leverage. So he's building up leverage, which in that region of the world is military, okay? Because between us and the Israelis, we can strike about whatever we want. In fact, we can do it if we build up strength. So he's building up leverage. All of these negotiations, in my opinion, are aimed not at the mullahs, because the president knows the mullahs are not going to agree to this. It's aimed at factions within the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, the guys who wear military caps, not turbans. And what Trump is saying to them is, look, if you'll play ball with us on these key issues, ballistic missiles, funding the proxies, the nuclear program, you'll play ball with us on this, you can survive. Basically, get rid of this guy, Khomeini, this 86-year-old guy who's driving you over a cliff, take over, play ball with us, and you can stay basically, and you can keep enjoying all the money you've stolen and all the rest of it. I think there's a chance that'll work. I don't think it's going to, though. And at the point where it doesn't, I think we're going to strike. I think we're going to hit the ballistic missile systems, probably the IRG command and control, all of which will then give further impetus to the protesters, and we'll see if the regime can hang on.
I know I said that was my last question. Let's see if we can do this in 30 seconds. Is he looking for regime change?
I think he'd like regime change, but again, there's a policy behind this. I call it regime alteration.
Mm-hmm.
Regime reconfiguration is what he's doing in Venezuela. He's saying to these people in Venezuela, look, you can if regime change is the objective and they know they're going to be killed or they're going to lose everything that they've got, these people will never cooperate with it. But if we're giving them an exit ramp, if you will, something acceptable to us because our interests are protected and advanced, then maybe they will. And the other advantage of that is that we have partners around the world who are basically with us, but who are very hinky about the idea of regime change. I mean, think the Saudis, right?
Right.
So by doing it this way, when we strike, we can say to the Saudis, look, we did everything we could to avoid this, you see. It wasn't regime change. We just needed them to do what we wanted them to do and what you want them to do. So you see the advantages of that approach.
Yeah, and having all the allies in the Middle East, like you said earlier in the segment here, that helps a lot because it's not just the U.S. going at it unilaterally or just with Israel even. There's a lot of countries that are all looking for the same outcome here.
And that's the reason we need them in Gaza.
Yeah.
And they've been helping us in Gaza. And if we can solve the Gaza problem, we can remove an obstacle to the progress of the Abraham Accord. So again, there's a comprehensive policy behind all this. I think it's a good policy. And given our power, the United States has enormous reservoirs of power. There's a good chance it's all going to work. And it's the first time I've seen anything like this. I mean, literally in 30 years.
Senator Jim Talent, thank you so much for your time. Chairman of the Reagan Institute's National Leadership Council and former senator from Missouri. We always appreciate your time here on the Andy Frye Show.
Thank you, Ryan.
All right, we are going to take a short break and come right back. We're going to talk a little bit about the SAVE Act. We've been talking about the SAVE Act for a while. Did you know that it's changed a little bit? It is now called the Save America Act. So there's been a little bit of alterations. We'll give you the update on where everything is at with the Save America Act. I'll tell you what the difference is and where it stands next on the Andy Frye Show.
And Mark Reardon and learn how to create a worry-free retirement with the Retirement Advisory Group. It's coming up on Tuesday, February 17th at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield at 6:30 p.m. Here are Bob and Tammy Kershaw with more.
Are you nearing retirement or already retired and wondering how to turn your 401k and IRA into a worry-free retirement? Would you like to learn the strategies that give you market growth but protects you from market losses at the same time?
Would you like to get a free personalized retirement income plan? And did you also know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to create a worry-free retirement. If you're 59 and a half or older, you cannot afford to miss this event.
Have a worry-free retirement and join the official financial advisors of my show, Bob and Tammy Kershaw, at the DoubleTree Hotel in Chesterfield, Tuesday, February 17th at 6:30 p.m. Go to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Let's just face it, right? Your home should work for you, not against you. Hi, it's Kim, and if you've been dreaming of a new kitchen, bathroom, or a finished basement, now's the time to call Lakeside Renovation and Design. They're St. Louis's trusted experts in turning houses into dream homes. Just imagine this, a spa-like bathroom, maybe a chef-inspired kitchen, or how about a cozy basement perfect for some movie nights? Their team handles everything from design to installation so you can just sit back and enjoy the process. Visit lakesidearty.com today to start your dream renovation.
Hi, my name's Robin Fletcher. I've smoked for 46 years. I went to a seminar and I have not smoked a cigarette since I left. My best friend came with me and neither one of us smoked. I took my 3 sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's best friend. None of them have smoked a cigarette. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you.
My name is Jen Carpenter. I went to a Mark Patrick seminar back at February 12, 2015, to stop smoking, and it worked. I'm coming up on 11 years. A friend of mine also went in October of 2015, and he still no longer smokes. This is after, for myself, almost 30 years of smoking, and it was just amazing.
What are you waiting for? Join Mark Patrick Hypnosis and lose the weight or stop smoking or your money back. Only $59.99. That's right, weight loss hypnosis, Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis at 11 a.m. Registration 10:30 a.m. Stop smoking hypnosis 2 p.m. Registration 1:30 p.m. Sign up at markpatrickseminars.com.
Hair Volume from New Nordic will make your hair look thick and healthy. Available as a tablet or delicious gummy. Hair Volume is available online at Amazon and newnordicusa.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Andy Frye is St. Louis conservative.
Do what I should, man. Point, baby. Do what I could, man. Point, baby. Do what I should, man. Point, baby. Do what I could, man.
They're very unhappy that there's a movement for getting voter ID. They want voter ID. the population, 98%, want voter ID. They don't want voter ID because they want to cheat in elections. They also want other things. They don't want mail-in ballots. They want to end mail-in ballots, which is corrupt. And one other thing that they're insisting on is proof of citizenship. And the Democrats don't want to give proof of citizenship. They don't want to give voter ID. Think of it. Who wouldn't want proof of citizenship? I ask you, Steve. Who wouldn't want voter ID? And why would you want mail-in ballots if you know it's corrupt? It's a corrupt system. We're the only country in the world that has this system of mail-in ballots. Think of it. The only country in the world that has this system of mail-in ballots, because they cheat. And the fact is they could never get elected if they ever changed. They know it. If you had voter ID, if you had proof of citizenship, they could never win an election. And they know that, and they're fighting to the hill. And I put this down with men playing in women's sports. I put it down with transgender for everybody. I put it down with their horrible open border policy as being ridiculous. They don't want voter ID. No voter ID. And I put that down in the same category with men playing in women's sports. I'm going to add a fourth category. They don't want voter ID.
Yeah, it is that popular. He compares it to men playing in women's sports. This is an 80-20 issue, as we say all the time. When you ask people whether you should have ID to vote, they say yes, regardless of party, although, of course, more Democrats are against it than Republicans. But across the country, this is an 80-20 issue. I think it's one of the reasons Republicans are pushing so hard for it right now is because they know it's popular. And it's putting Democrats in a bad spot to have to stand up against voter ID when everybody understands it's a very plain thing to do. How about John Ossoff? I pulled this story for Wiggins America. We didn't quite get to it, but this is great. John Ossoff is a Democrat from Georgia, and he is a vulnerable Democrat in that he's in Georgia, a very swing state. He is the target of a new attack ad from Republicans calling out the senator for opposing voter ID requirements, but requiring proof of identification to enter his own rallies. So, and you can find these things really under any rock. You pull it back just a little bit, and you're going to find that there are all kinds of ways that Democrats use ID, but to vote, no, it's too hard to get ID to vote in that sense. They asked him, why did you do this? And he said, well, his team said, well, it's due to security requirements. We have to have ID to have security. Well, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you very much for getting on board with the SAVE Act. It sounds like Fetterman might be close to doing so, but we'll talk about that with Hogan Gidley in just a few minutes. I don't want to take all of the wind out of that sail because we got a lot more to talk about with the Senate and where they stand on the SAVE Act. But between now and then, I just want to highlight the difference between what we called the SAVE Act and the Save America Act, because they updated a little bit as they've been, as bills do, as they work their way through Congress. The SAVE Act was really focused more on was focused more on identification and proof of citizenship at the time of registration. The Save America Act does go further and requires federal vote ID for casting ballots. So they keep saying ID to vote, ID to vote. Save America Act actually goes a little further in that sense to make sure that that is a part of that bill and hopefully law at some point soon.
I'm back.
Hi.
Momentarily.
How you doing?
We'll see. I have a migraine, and I'm pushing through.
Good for you. You really are.
Little medicated.
You are pushing through because that whole first hour, you did it.
You mentioned the SAVE Act. I can't not play this clip regarding the SAVE Act, and the reason I want to play it right now is because I just saw Eric Schmidt is playing this clip in conjunction with the Fox News interview that he was doing. But the SAVE Act being that with which the government would make law that we would have to show an ID in order to vote. I think it really is telling. It's always telling. If you look at, we did this that one time, like what was the Democrat platform in the year 2000?
Yeah.
And it turns out it was basically what a MAGA America First policy.
A lot of it was.
Would be. Like you look at, I mean, that it's almost in lockstep. You can't really make this up Chuck Schumer, who says that this is Jim Crow 2.0. Before we go to a break here, listen to this.
Let's admit the truth. Everywhere people go, they're asked for a Social Security card. In fact, one way to prove you're a bona fide person who can have a job is to ask for a driver's license and a Social Security card. This is an anti-fraud amendment. Over where we go, people say, well, why can't you stop illegal immigrants or others from coming here? And the number one answer we give our constituents is when they come here, they can get jobs, get benefits against the law because of fraud.
Oh.
All right, Chucky Schumer. Whatever happened to Jim Crow 2.0? I think they're like, it rhymes, we'll go with it. And they're fine with it. So the idea of the SAVE Act now being something that Mike Lee looks like he's successfully gotten 50. You got if you got 50, you got a majority, assuming J.D. Vance comes around to the idea of the SAVE Act. He's going to vote in favor of it. Now they got to figure out how to get past the filibuster, how they have to get to a vote where they can get a 50-50 vote, if that's what it ends up being. Could be more than that. Lisa Murkowski of Alaska said she doesn't support it. So even if Fetterman came over to support it, which would be required, well, not necessarily. Right now, with 50 votes in favor of it, you would need J.D. Vance, the vice president, to break that tie. Could be a few more. It's wildly popular, as Ryan was just saying, 80-20. Hogan Gidley will join us when we come back. I'm going to ask him about the SAVE Act. Does he think the Republicans can get this done? And moving closer and closer to the midterms, how do the Republicans fare? What are the winning issues and what are the losing issues for the Republican Party come November? Hogan Gidley in a minute. The Retirement Advisory Group, tonight is the night, and I'm not 100% sure if they have open spaces left, but I would encourage you, if your night opened up for whatever particular reason, and you can come join us at 6:30 tonight. I get there at 6, and from 6 to 6:30, I'll hang out with you. I'd love to meet you. That would be a great honor for me. Mark Cox and Mark Reardon will be there as well. It's a Protecting Your Retirement educational event. And in order to reserve your spot, 314-993-9494. Just call and tell them you're coming, bringing a friend, bringing a couples or something like that. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It starts at 6:30. It lasts probably 45 minutes or so. So it's not sucking up your whole evening. If you found yourself being available, call and see if they have space and come see me, Mark, and of course, learn about how to protect your retirement. 314-993-9494 is the number to call. Come learn strategies that give you market growth but protect you from market losses at the same time. It's at the Doubletree in Chesterfield, right off 64 West and Chesterfield Parkway. Reserve your spot at retirementkey.com.
Doesn't it feel like you hear all the time from retired friends and family, I wish someone had told me this before I retired? Or why didn't anybody tell me this? Why is this not a class? Well, that's exactly why Financial and Tax Architects was founded. FTA keeps hardworking families in St. Louis make sense of retirement. They show them how to keep more of what they've earned and how to make it last. That way you can get some sleep at night. You don't have to second guess every expense leading up to retirement. You understand what's going on. Their Retirement Planning 101 class is a practical, no-cost course. They teach it at local colleges. It's just one night. You learn strategies to reduce taxes, plan your income, make confident decisions about Social Security and taxes and inflation. And FTA focuses on education. They try to change the way you retire. Call 888-5101 or go to fta-ria.com to register.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from Michael's Bass. You've upgraded the kitchen, you've invested in your home, so why settle for a bathroom that still feels ordinary? At Michael's Bass, they create elevated bathroom spaces that blend luxury, comfort, and smart design, all tailored to the way you live. This isn't a temporary fix or a quick cover-up. It's a complete transformation built to last and built to add value to your home. And now is the perfect time to plan for a spring installation. Visit michaelsbass.com or call 636-775-0800. Ask about financing options, including 0% interest. michaelsbass.com.
The poll today, YouTube live chat poll, is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? A couple comments from our YouTube stream. Dirk says no. He's getting things done, but he hasn't brought us together yet. I guess it depends on what your criteria for top 3 would be.
Also, who do we want? Who needs to come together? You think you're going to get the people in the streets of Minneapolis to come together with mainstream America?
I'll tell you this. If he does, he's a top 3 president for sure. Lori says, regarding the poll, for sure, yes, he is with all he has done and all the trade deals and such. So let us know what you think, and you can leave a comment either there on our stream or by texting 314-241-9797. It is 1:33. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
JerryKelly.com. From Collinsville to Chesterfield, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Now seems like the only time for Republicans to step up and do something.
Yeah, first of all, the fact that we haven't done something in a while, the fact that it would require a fair amount of work and that we don't know exactly what curveballs the Democrats might try to throw at us when we do this isn't a good reason not to do it. In fact, Kayleigh, when you look at how important this is, the fact that we're looking at somewhere between 80 and 85% of all Americans support this, the fact that this may well be necessary in order for us to preserve the majority that the Republican Party holds in the Senate and in the House. When you look at the fact that the American people want this done, this is the most important thing that we could do. And so, look, it may take a while. I expect that it probably would take a few weeks. It would be far worth the investment, and I believe we could get it passed. What we do know is that if we don't try, it won't happen, and it won't pass. We've got to try this, Kayleigh. The American people demand it.
Senator Lee saying we've got to try. That is a very interesting concept, and it's refreshing to hear Republicans say it's worth a shot. Let's talk to Hogan Gidley about his thoughts on it. Of course, senior advisor for the America First Policy Institute, former national press secretary for the Trump campaign. Hogan, welcome back to the show. Good to have you with us. Thanks for some of your time.
Hey, great to be with you. Thanks for the time.
You bet. The SAVE Act seems wildly popular. It's not a Republican policy. It's not a conservative policy. It's not a Trump policy. It seems like it's an American policy. What do you think of Senator Mike Lee's ability to round up, I think at last I heard 50 co-sponsors of this, and the willingness to go out on a limb and say, yeah, we should make them stand and advocate as in the filibuster in the Senate in order to prove that they are against it?
I mean, look, there are political realities that exist in both the House and the Senate that make legislating, very difficult. And you're seeing that with something as commonsensical as the SAVE Act. A vast majority of the American people want it. It's not a novel concept. Proving you are who you say you are and that you're a legitimate citizen of this country when you vote is not crazy. It is well within the mainstream. A vast majority of Republicans, Democrats, Blacks, Hispanics, all love the policy because they know it just makes sense. You can't do anything in this life without showing picture ID and proving that what you claim is reality. There are laws on the books that prevent us from buying alcohol until you're 21, but they don't just ask you to check a box when you come in the store to buy beer. You have to show up an ID to do it. So there is a part of this where the law is on the books or can be on the books. You got to have people to enforce it. But this is just so common sense. People understand this, and this has been a fight for a long time. I don't know why they won't stand up and support it.
I hear people saying, but Annie, we have a right to vote. And I counter that with saying illegals don't have, people who are not citizens don't have a right to vote. You're just establishing and confirming that the right to vote is protected by those who do actually retain that right.
Yeah, and look, there are some, right? Sometimes you don't have a right to vote if you've committed certain crimes.
Mm-hmm.
That can be taken away as well. And like you said, only Americans should decide American elections. That just makes sense. People who say that to you, Annie, that it doesn't really matter, you have a right to vote. Go to France and see if they let you vote for or against Macron. Go to Canada and see if they let you vote for or against Trudeau just because you're there. I don't think that's the way that works anywhere else. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why this country has such a problem with it. And, here's something else. I think your listeners need to know this because it really is important kind of to the argument, too, because it always gets the Trump people don't trust elections. 65% of Trump voters don't believe he lost the election in 2020 to Joe Biden. But 60% of Democrats don't believe that Hillary Clinton lost to Donald Trump. So vast majorities of both parties think the system is flawed and that there are major problems. So for the life of me, again, I can't figure out why they just run and hide in these times of decision. I mean, go back and look at all the videos of Chuck Schumer, of Kamala Harris, of everybody else saying that there are problems with our elections. And now all of a sudden they're saying it's Jim Crow 2.0. They used to say you had to have Social Security cards to do these things. You used to have to show voter ID. That's what the Democrats were talking about.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden they're just like, no, just go in and cast a ballot. It doesn't matter. I just think it's absolutely insane.
Hogan, the Democrats will say that they don't think illegals are voting.
Okay, but they're wrong. And they're wrong. And also, here's the thing. I love the argument. It's already, there are laws on the books. They can't vote. Now, Hogan, I've heard this on TV when I go on CNN. They can't vote. It's against the law. Well, they can't commit murder either. And by the way, they can't come into the country in the first place, right? There are laws on the books to stop that too. Then how are they here? I mean, why would you in one state say ICE can't conduct their operations to remove people who are in this country illegally at a polling place? If you know they're not voting, why would you put that? Why would you try to make that a law? Everyone knows this is happening. And I'm so sick and tired of those who say it's just so infinitesimal. It's such a small number. First of all, we don't know the number because as we've seen with the Somali issue in Minnesota and Ohio and California, these folks that are just scamming the system. You don't even know what's going on half the time in these states. You can't have clean voter rolls, so don't tell me you know who's voting, number one. But number two, how many illegal votes are okay? How many is it one? Because here's the thing: one illegal vote cancels out your vote. It cancels out my vote. And there are people in Congress. There's a person in Congress right now, and the name escapes me, but someone in Congress right now who won their seat by 6 votes. 6.
Yeah.
So let's not pretend like these rules and laws on the books that are meant to protect legal votes and legal voters aren't important.
One illegal vote for a Republican is too many. That's, Hogan, where we got to figure out the one illegal that came here and voted for a Republican, and maybe we'll flip the whole script on him. Hogan Gidley speaking with us right now, senior advisor for the America First Policy Institute. Standing filibuster is going to screech the Senate to a complete halt. And that will be the thing on the table. And my understanding is, regardless if there are meetings happening behind closed door, that the floor will belong to the SAVE Act until that issue is resolved. Is it possible? Is there any way in your mind that the push to get that potential standing filibuster back in place to make this a top issue, is there any possibility that backfires against Republicans?
I don't think so at this point. And oftentimes when the argument, too, is it's racist or some nonsense like that isn't true. Remember when they put all those laws into place in Georgia and the same naysayers came out from the left and said this is Jim Crow 2.0, Joe Biden famously said it's Jim Eagle, which is stupid anyway.
Super
all
stupid.
That kind of stuff. What happened? Well, the black participation in the election went up 200%. It went up hundreds of percent for white voters and for Hispanic voters, because it turns out when people have faith, trust, and confidence in the election, they want to participate. When they don't participate, it's because they don't trust the outcome. Give them a reason to trust it, and they will be there in droves to vote and participate in our process.
My favorite part of that whole story is MLB ripping the All-Star game out of there and Atlanta saying, hold my beer, we're going to win the World Series, which is the ultimate ball don't lie if you're a sports person.
But even better, they did it because it was racist, and they moved it to Utah, where there's not like a black person for 10,000 miles.
Hogan Gidley speaking with us right now. Last question before I run out of time with you, Hogan. I'm looking at the midterms, and I'm looking at the issues that are winning issues for the Republicans. I think tax returns are going to start coming in and bringing in a lot of people who are middle class back into the fold to say, okay, this economy is headed the direction that President Trump said it would be, on top of gas prices and egg prices and so on and so forth. What are the winning issues for the Republican Party going into the midterm, and what are the losing issues?
Well, listen, I still think it's immigration, the way you talk about it. I think it will be the economy as well. I think it's lower crime. My goodness. While the Democrats will continue to stand up for those who are in this country illegally or those that are just committing heinous and violent crimes on a daily basis that are American citizens, we're on the side of the victims, not on the side of the criminals. And I think continuing to point that kind of stuff out between now and the midterms will help greatly. You talked about the economy first. I know I mentioned immigration first. But I'll tell you, I think the economy still wins the day. And as those tax returns start coming in and people realize, wait a minute, for the first time in many years, your paychecks, your income, it is outpacing inflation. So now you have more money in your pocket that you did not have under Joe Biden. Those are things you can win on. But remember, one of the most offensive things you can do in running a campaign is to tell a voter what they feel isn't real. So you got to be careful because remember, Kamala Harris tried this and she told us all, but now the big difference is she was lying. The border's closed. It wasn't. The economy's better. It wasn't. Crime is down. It wasn't. These things actually are happening now. So it's incumbent upon us to get out there and tell them exactly that it is happening, but who made it happen? It's Republican governance.
Is Trump going to make it his priority to win the midterms? Is he going to be active?
Oh, I think he's going to be very active. I think he started in Iowa last week, a week or two ago. He's going to Rome, Georgia, I think today or tomorrow to give a speech on the economy as well. I think this is going to be a big one for him.
All right. Hogan Gidley, we always love having you on with us. Thanks for being with us today.
Anytime. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye-bye. Hogan Gidley is a senior advisor for the America First Policy Institute. Certainly been a man in the room for quite some time with the President Trump administration, former national press secretary for the Trump campaign, and former principal deputy press secretary in the Trump administration. Let's take a break. Ryan's going to come back in here in just a minute. We've got X's and Y's coming up in the 2 o'clock hour at 2:30. These are fun, sometimes in-depth, sometimes deep questions. We just ask across the genders, of which there are 2. We celebrate that at 2:30 on Tuesdays. If you've got questions for why do women this and why are men always fill in the blank that, 314-241-9797. Text us your questions, 314-241-9797. X's and Y's at 2:30. YouTube poll, is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? Let us know what you think on the YouTube live chat poll. Back in a minute. Stewie, my friend, and also I've been a client of Stewie's, of course. He has the Bagel Loan. The Bagel Loan is a new mortgage that you either get brand new for your new home or a mortgage refinance that's new to you. And when you go through that mortgage process, you pay nothing in closing costs. You don't have to worry at all about the thousands of dollars that can stack up at the end of that transaction. They don't exist. That's the secret sauce of the Bagel Loan. He basically takes care of those closing costs for you. This can save you thousands of dollars. Now, how do you get more information? How do you know how it can work for you? You reach out to Stewie, 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. You can Google the Bagel Loan for more information as well. But especially if you're thinking about a cash out refinance right now, maybe lowering the mortgage rate that you've gotten in the last few years, you can lower that rate. You could shorten the term, which means you might be able to keep your payment right now where it is if you like it and get rid of years off the length of your loan. Think about it. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan. NMLS number 226715.
Mark Cox here. I get to attend President Trump's State of the Union address, and I'm taking you with me. We'll have real-time reaction and the Mark Cox Morning Show live from the Fox News D.C. Bureau, February 24th and 25th, sponsored by Corel Roofing and Golden Oak Lending.
I got you something extra special for Valentine's Day.
Yeah?
How does a blow and go sound?
I like it.
Great. Air Comfort Service will be here on Monday.
Wait, what?
Our attic insulation is in bad shape. Air Comfort Service heating and cooling and insulation can top off our insulation with blow and go and make our home more energy efficient. We can save up to 30% on our energy bills.
I love it when you talk savings to me.
Schedule your blow and go attic installation from Air Comfort Service. Visit aircomfortservice.com/blow today.
Many of you know that my inspiration for becoming an accident attorney was my brother Tim, who was rendered a quadriplegic at age 18. I didn't know what a personal injury lawyer was or what they did, but I soon did. Tim was treated terribly by the insurance company, and I became enraged. It was a constant delay and deny. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Tim later worked with me for 27 years. Last year, my hero died at age 65. You can see my eulogy for him by visiting mybrothertim.com. He was one hell of a man. Because of Tim, together we built the largest injury firm in the world, and our clients are treated the way I would want my family to be treated. At Morgan & Morgan, nobody is a nobody and everybody is a somebody. If you need our help, visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer. See you soon, Tim. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
The Annie Fry Show is St. Louis conservative.
So, did you mention that I was migraining over here?
Mm-hmm. How you doing?
It's not as bad as it could be.
I can tell that it's not good, though.
It hurts to open my eyes and to hear noises, which is really just me sitting in front of lights and listening to headphones right now.
Yeah.
So the hazards of the job, which are usually zero. There's usually zero hazards to the job right now.
You're saying the best thing for you right now would be if you were a coal miner.
I hadn't considered it. I'm a migraine sufferer, and I've had them. I can recall being in 4th and 5th grade and getting migraines.
Wow.
So I've had them my whole life. And they're not frequent, but they're legit. And it's hereditary. My grandpa got really bad migraines, and like a step above, from what I've been told, a step above migraines are cluster headaches. And he got those as well. It would put him in the hospital from time to time. But I don't think I've ever had a cluster headache. I've just suffered from migraines. I gotta write these down. There are a few things. It's usually, for me, it's a rule of 3 that there are a few factors that have to come together that create a situation where a migraine may be imminent. Have you ever had one?
No.
You ever had, you ever get bad headaches?
Once in a great while, I get a semi-bad headache. But compared to what other people talk about, I would say no.
Headaches are so awful because it's not like, well, for me, a migraine, I'll get headaches from time to time, but water consumption really keeps that from happening for me, and just healthy digestion, that type of a thing. But migraines are absolutely a hormonal based situation for me. So there are 5 factors that I have in my 41 years of time determined create a perfect storm for me where a migraine could potentially happen. If I have 3 of these factors together, then I am ripe for a migraine. 4 or 5, I'm cooked. The first one is dehydration. If I have not if I haven't consumed enough water, that's bad. So and you have to be kind of prone to migraines. I don't think people randomly get migraines. You kind of have to have a history of it, because I think it's a different type of science in your brain that causes a migraine versus a tension headache or a sinus headache, or if you get a concussion or something like that. So if I get dehydrated, I think that dehydration, and the second one is bad sleep. If my sleep patterns are super off, if my sleep isn't restful, then those are the 2 things that can really push me into where I'm potentially going to get a migraine. Hormones, of course, lend to it very much so. Time of the month, or just irregulating my hormones, that will be a contributing factor. So there are times where it would be more likely that I would get one than others. Eating habits. It's not about if I eat really well and healthy, I'm good. It's when my eating habits get thrown for a loop and how I'm used to eating. I have a pretty repetitive cycle of eating. I've talked about this before. My breakfast every day is a Scooter's coffee latte with protein cold foam on the top, a Slim and Fit vanilla yogurt with honey, Greek yogurt, and 2 pieces of Dave's Killer bread. did I do it right?
Yeah, that's right. Not Killer Dave's.
Killer Dave. No, it's totally different.
That's a guy from the 70s.
Yeah, the bread is killer. Dave is not.
Right.
2 pieces of toast with butter, real butter. That's breakfast every day. And then I usually will eat dinner, whatever Jared makes. I'll just eat the best of the healthiest versions of that. Sometimes if he's making something that he knows I'm not going to eat, he'll make that for the kids, and then he and I will have something else. And then the last one is stress. So if I'm particularly stressed, like if stress is super high and I haven't had enough water and I'm not sleeping well, a migraine will ensue.
It's any number of those things combined.
3+.
You have to hit a couple of them at the same time.
Yeah, and it's just something I've always dealt with. For a while, I was on daily medication, but I cannot take daily medication. I just am not that person. I can't. I don't remember to do it.
That's all I do is take daily medication.
I just can't remember to do that.
I think 45% of my day is spent taking daily medication.
Birth control, daily pill, that's just a surefire way for me to get pregnant. I am not taking that on. I don't never
take those either.
And you're running the risk.
I know, and I got bad acne.
You want to talk about selling young girls a bill of goods about birth control and acne. So I've never really been able to do that and participate in that. But since I have migraines with aura, which means I lose my vision about 30 to 45 minutes before I get the headache, which is a blessing and a curse. Curse because I can't see. So when I went in to talk to Trisha before the show started, I was like, I can't see you right now. I just have, if you look at the sun and then you look away and you just like can't see what you're looking at, you see that spot, that's the way it starts. And it starts as a pinpoint. Like I'll look at something and I'll be reading something, and on a piece of paper, just the word I'm looking at, it's like hard to see. It's kind of garbled. But then all of a sudden, it just, that pinpoint focus that I'm missing, it just starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then it kind of folds out to now I don't have peripheral vision. So the problem with that is if I'm going to get a migraine, I know people are telling me on the chat to go home. Before I get the headache, I can't see. I can't drive. So I just kind of have to hunker down. The second thing is that I have some prescription high-level pain medication that I only take in the event of a migraine. And this prescription that I have, don't at me, it's for headaches, and it was prescribed December 9th of 2020.
Oh.
And I
you don't take it a lot.
I do not abuse it. I protect this with my life because when a migraine sets in, this is what I need. But it is high level. Like it's zap it in the head. So I started seeing spots at about 11:40. All of a sudden, because at first I see it and then I think to myself, is this happening? Please don't happen. Then I kind of start to panic and then it starts to set in. So I went to tell Trisha, I'm getting a migraine. I think I said, talk to Ryan. I don't know if because sometimes I'll do that and the headache won't set in, but then the headache started setting in. So I had to lay down during Gym Talent because I couldn't open my eyes. And I didn't want to do an interview with my eyes closed because then nobody would be able to hear me. That doesn't make sense. But I'm pushing through. I'll be here for the rest of the show. Thanks for filling in. And thanks to Gym Talent for wishing me well. Back in a minute. Don't go away.
Inviting you to join me September 30th as we discover the charm of Switzerland, Austria, and Germany with Colette Travel. Spend 4 nights in Bern and then 4 nights at the foot of the Alps in Innsbruck. From the cobblestone streets to the postcard-worthy mountain landscapes of the amazing Alps, we're going to explore the Swiss capital of Bern and lovely Lucerne, the Swiss paradise on the lake. We'll travel the Austrian countryside to Salzburg with a visit to Mozart's birthplace, and then Mirabel Gardens featured in The Sound of Music. This and so much more. Colette handles all the details. The flights, the meals, the hotels, the local experiences. All you have to do is have the time of your life. Don't miss this trip. Meet me and the folks from Colette to learn more at the Lodge at De Pere, Tuesday, February 24th at 2 p.m. Call Colette at 800-581-8942 or go to 971talk.com/events for details.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. If you have uneven concrete at your home outside, I know that it's mid-February, which means spring is upon us, and I'm going to talk about that as much as I possibly can because it just sounds hopeful and lovely and green and full of life. That concrete in your patio by your pool that is uneven and people are running around and stubbing their toes, you've done it and you're sick of it. It's also a trip hazard, and you don't want to, break a hip or have mom and dad come over and break a hip because they tripped on something while they're hanging out at the pool. Get that concrete level with Home Shield Foundation Repair. They use a system called polyjacking, which takes a polyurethane foam, injects it under the concrete, raises it up, fixes it, and you are going to be good to go. But you can trust Matt Hayes to come out and look and see what you're dealing with by calling him at 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900. See if polyjacking is a system to help you and your uneven concrete out, plus a 5-year warranty. 314-271-9900 online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
What's your favorite 4-letter word? Chances are you've said it more than a few times dealing with this crazy world we live in. But at Compass Retirement Solutions, our 4-letter word of choice is hope. Hope for a better tomorrow. And hope that your retirement plans don't take a back seat. You've watched inflation soar. And maybe your retirement future feels a little uncertain right now. But all hope is not lost. Find out exactly how much risk you're still taking with your investments. Find out how you may be able to save big on taxes. And find out how having a written retirement plan just might give you the hope you've been looking for. Call today to set up a meeting. 314-373-1598. That's 314-373-1598. Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services but does not provide tax advice. Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory firm in Missouri and Illinois. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
News. DNA on a glove found during the search for Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy, does not match anything in the FBI's national database. Pima County, Arizona Sheriff Chris Nanos tells Fox.
That's what happens. You chase leads until you either make it or eliminate it.
He says he thinks someone out there knows something about who took Nancy Guthrie 17 days ago.
That's the person we want to have call us.
Both sides report progress in U.S.-Iran nuclear talks, round 2 today in Switzerland.
Iran's foreign minister said his country reached an understanding on made principles with the U.S. as Iranian state media reports the talks entered the technical phase with conversations on uranium enrichment and stockpile levels. U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner participated in the indirect negotiations that were led by Omani officials, with Iran's foreign minister leading the opposing delegation.
Fox's Trey Yanks. Early voting starts today in a March 3rd Senate primary in Texas. Republican incumbent John Cornyn's facing a challenge from State Attorney General Ken Paxton and Congressman Wesley Hunt. President Trump says he likes all three, and Governor Greg Abbott says he won't be endorsing anyone either.
These elections are going to determine what the future of Texas is going to be. There are so many people in this state who want to see maybe one thing more than anything else, and that is to keep Texas, Texas.
The top polling Democrats in the race are Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett and State Senator James Tallarico. He was supposed to be on the CBS Late Show last night.
During his monologue, Stephen Colbert said CBS lawyers prevented him from airing an interview with James Tallarico, and he claims they did that because of pressure from the Trump administration.
Fox's Nate Foy. The FCC has an equal time rule for political candidates that has not in the past been applied to news interviews on talk shows. That interview is available online. U.S. Capitol Police says its officers this afternoon arrested a person with what appears to be a gun in front of the Capitol. Congress is not in session this week. America's listening to Fox News.
This month, Pure Talk is honoring Jackson and Lincoln by offering unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month. Meanwhile, Big Wireless is honoring Ben Franklin by charging families hundreds of dollars for the same 5G coverage. What? Franklin wasn't even a president. Hang on to those Benjamins. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe, and save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250, Mike Rowe, to switch to an American wireless company that's truly unprecedented. Pure Talk.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though.
I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
A fair share of clouds this afternoon. Let's call it partly to mostly cloudy. Even though I'm going 66 for the high, it's going to feel a little cooler than that. Cloudy skies and breezy tonight, 56 Wednesday. Partly sunny skies, still windy, 72 for the high, the record 74. Thursday, partly sunny, maybe a spot shower Thursday, but still quite warm, 73. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Fry Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Save 15% off blown-in attic insulation and get a free year of HVAC maintenance. Proper insulation reduces energy costs and strain on your HVAC system and makes your home more comfortable. For a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Fry, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Rain.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
All right, welcome back. The YouTube live chat poll for today is Donald Trump a top 3 United States president, yes or no? Donald Trump, top 3? Let us know what you think on the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. You can text us your thoughts as well, 314-241-9797. All right, choose your adventure. How do you feel about those?
Oh, I love Choose Your Adventures.
You do?
Well, the books are weird and bad, but the concept is great.
Logan Paul or Billie Eilish?
Ooh, Billie Eilish.
Billie Eilish. Okay. Have you seen this story?
Probably not.
Okay. If you don't know why I'm talking about Billie Eilish, then I assume that you don't know the story because this is really quite something. Billie Eilish, you remember her speech at the Grammys, right? Mm-hmm. Anytime you start your speech with I don't really know what to say, just say thank you.
Thank you for this Grammy.
Just thank you.
Bye.
I love that you love my music. I'm really happy, as you can see from my face.
Mm-hmm.
Billie Eilish.
She's just a flower of joy.
She is. Yes, very just full of brightness. I think she's talented. I think she has
I do too.
Music. I think she cuts through. She's unique enough, whatever. Well, she was the one who said no one is illegal on stolen land. Well, then everybody was like, what about you? What about you, Billie? And her mansion and who own, what land that mansion that she lives in, who actually owns it and blah, blah, blah. Well, you have Billie Eilish who's using her Grammy victory as an opportunity to grandstand and to virtue signal on basically saying, screw ICE, something about indigenous people. And, when she's talking to you people. Listen to this.
This reported me to ICE and got me deported from the US.
No one is illegal on stolen land.
Honestly, I can't even be really mad because it's kind of funny. But basically, I was joking online that I was going to fly to America and move into her mansion, packing my bags right away. No human being is illegal. It's obviously a joke. It's obviously a meme. And I get stopped by DHS and held for 30 hours. Literally 30 hours. They're asking me, how do you know Billie Eilish? Do you intend to trespass? No, of course not, man. It's a joke. It was a meme that I came up with on Instagram. And I get held for 30 hours and deported. I get basically escorted onto a plane by armed guards, sent back to Australia.
Oh.
And I think it's actually amazing performance art. As a joke, I managed to get Billie Eilish, Hollywood celebrities, left-wingers, liberals, to agree with ICE, to agree with border control. They suddenly support deportations because they don't like my memes. They don't like me as a person. So I should get a commendation, honestly. It's amazing performance art. I suffered for my art 30 hours in a cell just to prove a point, just as a meme. Who else takes jokes this far? That I was able to actually sit in a cell for 30 hours and endure that pain just to prove that Billie Eilish is a hypocrite. Honestly, I deserve a commendation. I'm actually proud of myself. I think it was actually a total victory. All these people are laughing at me. No, it's actually a total victory. I managed to get left-wingers and Billie Eilish to support ICE. I managed to get them to support border control and deportations. I managed to get the entire American left in favor of deportations in one day with one simple trick. And I guess at the end of the day, I'm just a bad guy.
I get
the
it.
Song, which is the song.
Oh.
Guy.
He said he was going to come to the United States and move into her home, and she got him deported.
And the video ends with a generated photo of Billie Eilish wearing an ICE uniform, looking like she's about to go out and patrol.
Speaking of troll.
Nice.
How do you like that? How do you like them apples?
I like that a lot.
I like that a lot. Billie Eilish should have just said thank you. She wins a Grammy. She won a Grammy. And the whole story is how dumb she is.
And nobody would be talking about any of this. Even the Grammy itself, nobody would remember.
No,
I don't remember who
I
else
don't know
even won a Grammy.
anybody else who won a Grammy.
From 2 weeks ago. Nobody cares about Grammys. I always wanted to invent an award that was from my grandma that she would give me every year. And so I could say I won a Grammy.
Because it's like grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I also wonder if in the future, if there's a moment coming, maybe this is 20 years from now. She's had her moment. And she does like a Kid Rock where I used to be kind of crazy, but now I'm going to introduce myself as what's his name? Richie? What's his name?
It's a great story. I just don't want to interrupt it. Go on.
Don't, please don't. But then she comes out. She comes out and does one song, and it's Bad Guys, and it's Billie Eilish. And then her entourage comes out and goes, and now, ladies and gentlemen, William Eilish. And then she does like a born-again Christian message.
All right, Logan Paul. I'm giving him the floor here. Logan Paul, this was... I would happen to be, well, no, this is on the Big Money Show. He was on with Dana Perino and Bill Hemmer at one point talking about his investments. Now, what do you know about Logan Paul either?
I just know that he's a boxing...
A professional 12-year-old?
Yeah.
Well, he doesn't box anymore. He's WWE.
Okay, I didn't know that. And I know that he is...
Maybe we should just go to Brad, who knows everything about Logan Paul.
Isn't he kind of just a podcast guy?
Got to start on Vine.
I don't think he's just a podcast. I mean,
he's an influencer.
He is a legit, incredibly successful influencer.
Yes.
Influencer almost seems beneath him, but he just has perfected the game. Perfected the game to the point where he is hugely invested in Pokemon cards.
Oh. Okay.
One card in the world. Pokemon as an asset class has outperformed the stock market by upwards of 3,000% in the last 20 years. It is a generational game and franchise that is the #1 highest grossing and most popular franchise in the world.
So now I say this, I have a serious amount of respect for Logan Paul for him to have been able to capitalize the way he has. No disrespect for him as a businessman, but if you don't know who Logan Paul is, he just looks like a guy who would say bruh a lot. And he's wearing a gold chain around his neck with a Pokemon ball at the meeting of the chain at the bottom, and a gold-plated case with this Pokemon card in it around his neck, a la, maybe to make it more clear to people, Flava Flav, only it's not a clock, it's a Pokemon card.
Yeah. And it's a Pokeball.
Okay. What did I say?
Pokemon ball.
Okay. I am out-nerded with glee.
This card is the best out of all of them. It is the 1-of-1 PSA 10 Pikachu Illustrator. Now, how much is
Are you pumped now because of what he just said there?
A little bit.
Have you ever collected Pokemon cards, Ryan?
I was just outside of the age range when they started coming out, but I still had some.
There are 2 phases of Pokemon card popularity.
I wish I would have saved all the ones from Generation 1 when they were brand new.
My brother had a ton of them, and he is born in 86, so he grew up being into Pokemon cards because that was, I think, the original run at it, but they're really big right now. Did you ever collect them, Brad?
No, I ended up collecting baseball cards instead.
Yeah, like an honor.
The stuff around it worth.
Yeah,
I see a lot of diamonds.
A lot of diamonds.
Right.
I paid $75K for this custom chain.
$75,000. I paid $75,000 for a custom chain so he could display his rarest of rare Pokemon cards. Anyway, let's get.
How did you get into investing in these collectible cards?
Someone gave me way too much money as an adult. And as a kid who grew up playing the game, I was like, oh, wow, there's a trading card game here, and I can spend my entire net worth on it. And
Wait. Hold your laughter.
I did that with this card.
Can we?
Interesting. So if someone's new to this space, that's never been, I mean, this is an asset class that is completely foreign to most investors. Where would you start? We obviously can't start with one of those.
Yeah. I mean, man, go to your local card shop. Go on eBay. Buy a card that you think looks cool or that you have a connection with. That's what I did. I love Pokemon more than anything. I have one tattoo on my body. It's a Squirtle. I got it before I even started.
What's a Squirtle?
Squirtle's a water type. He's a starter Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah.
How much did you pay for that card?
I'm dating myself.
It's fine.
How much did you pay for it, and how much is it worth?
Yeah, great question. I paid $5.3 million for this card.
Wow.
He paid $5.3 million for this Pokemon card, and I will remind you, $75,000 for the chain around his neck.
I set a Guinness World Record for the most expensive Pokemon card ever sold back in 2022 after I wore it out to my WrestleMania debut around my neck like this. And your question, how much is it worth? We will see. I don't know. I am finally, after years of Ken Golden convincing me to sell this thing at auction, I'm sending it to auction this February.
Okay, so sending it to auction this February. Well, guess what it is, folks?
It's February.
It's February. So the news has been released. He said, what did I say? $5.3 million that he paid for this sucker?
Yeah.
$5.3 million for a Pokemon card, $75,000 for the chain to carry it around his neck. Well, the news is in. Logan Paul sells Pikachu Illustrator trading card for more than $16.4 million. $16.4 million. So if you're laughing at Logan Paul, he too is laughing at you with a profit of $10 million plus dollars.
This guy is a genius. He goes out and buys some random card and promotes it on every platform he possibly can.
The $75,000 chain was an investment.
From WWE to Fox Business, he's out there promoting this card, and then, oh, by the way, I'm going to sell it. That's freaking genius.
Yeah, I know. So, in my mind, I'm like, does he even like Pokemon cards?
Yeah, I don't know.
Let's just say, for him to be sitting on Fox Business, the panel of 6 other people, and be like, guys, it's a Squirtle. And their follow-up question is, what's a Squirtle?
Charlie Gasparino.
Yeah.
What's a Squirtle?
It's worth a lot of money. $16.4 million. I mean, that transaction is done. If you look at Logan Paul and think he looks like a idiot, you are at least wrong in the economic sense.
I'm going to start doing that on this show.
You're going to try to hype things?
Old MTV Raps cards. Just see. Look, I brought this chain for $75,000. Somebody better pay me for that.
You should do it with Beanie Babies.
Ooh, yeah, let's start doing that.
I used to have a bunch of them. Oh, man. $16.4 million this guy made. Well, sold it for.
I would do it for $10.
Dollars for lunch at KFC this afternoon.
Yeah.
My goodness. All right. Well, Logan Paul and Billie Eilish, thank you for contributing to a segment of this show. We appreciate you. Let's take a quick break. Ethan, Sports and Local next. Don't go away.
What's this?
CiviaLaw.com. Have you called or emailed or gone to the website yet to talk to Todd Civia at Civia Law? I hope you have. If you haven't, though, you can still make that phone call. And if you're one of the first 10 people to call 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL right now. First 10 people to call and mention my name, guess what? You get your strategy session fee waived. It's $300. You're just not going to pay it. If you mention Annie and you call right now, you can schedule the appointment out when it's convenient to you, but you got to call and you've got to mention my name to get that strategy session fee waived. The number is 833-995-WILL. That's 833-995-WILL. Now, if you go to civialaw.com/events, you're going to be able to look on their website and see some free events that they have coming up right now, including one tomorrow in Warrenton, Missouri at the Scenic Regional Library, on Friday over on the Illinois side at the Belleville Public Library. They've got a whole bunch of events there for you to check out. Sign up for free. Make sure when you call, you mention my name as well so that you can get that strategy session scheduled for no cost to you. 833-995-WILL, 833-995-WILL, civialaw.com.
It seems like this weather is going to continue. The cold weather is going to continue here in St. Louis and Illinois for the foreseeable future to finish out the winter. Now, if you have been unlucky or you don't want to wait till you're unlucky and you need your furnace fixed or even replaced, call me. We can get you a furnace next day. Sometimes we, depending on the manufacturer, it's not us, but just depending on the manufacturer, if they have the parts available, and here in St. Louis or Illinois, we can get you that day. But either way, if you're having problems with the furnace or you want to prevent problems with the furnace, call me, Bart Inman. One easy number, the easiest number in Missouri and Illinois, just one number. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it's Bart Inman. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you're struggling with weight and frustrated with dieting each and every year, Mark Patrick Hypnosis can help. Join the over 500,000 people who have attended Mark Patrick Hypnosis with great weight loss results. Mark Patrick Hypnosis will be in St. Louis on Saturday, March 7th.
Totally changed my life.
It's amazing. I don't have any cravings. You want to quit, but have found it impossible? This is the thing for you. I have absolutely no craving. It's the darndest thing I have ever seen in my life.
It's not for entertainment. It's for results.
Do it. It works. Period.
You've tried everything else. You need to come and try this.
After this hypnosis, I want to eat good food.
Since August, I can honestly say I have not had one potato chip.
It was life-changing for me.
And I don't think about dessert.
Only $59.99. Lose all the weight you want. 100% guaranteed. Saturday, March 7th at the Residence Inn by Marriott St. Louis Westport in St. Louis. Weight loss hypnosis, 11 a.m. Registration, 10:30 a.m. Attend this program and find out how the power of hypnosis can help you achieve your weight loss goals. There's limited seating, so get there early. Learn more at markpatrickseminars.com.
Start the new year off on a healthier note by taking active liver supplements from New Nordic every day. Available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com or at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery, or Wegmans.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Hold up! Check it out. Sports and local.
Barf Head.
Screw you. An appropriate response from Ethan. Screw you, he said.
You jerk. I don't like this job.
Does anybody ever talk to you about these, Ethan?
Surprisingly, no.
Okay.
Good.
No. And even if someone
That's not true.
Even if someone did, I wouldn't give Ryan Wiggins the power or the joy.
When we had our
the satisfaction of knowing that anyone does.
At the 97.1 25th anniversary birthday party, you had 10 people come up to you and talk about that day's Erfens and Blurgle nuts.
It's a traumatic day. A horrible night. And I had
That's the only time I've ever seen you outside of work, so...
And hopefully,
100% of the
the only time that you do ever see me outside of work.
All right.
Perfect.
For
Let's
my
go.
sake. All right. College basketball recap time. Beat down yesterday. Nope, not yesterday. Sunday for the Illinois Fighting Illini. Beat up on Indiana, the rivals, 71-51 final. So
Bunch
the
of
Illini
Hoosiers.
just keep on moving
The
forward.
cheer at the end of the game was, "Who's your daddy?" I had to explain it to my
Pretty
kids.
good.
I'm like, this is smarter than you think. Sit down and listen.
Tell me, mother.
The Illini are ranked 8th in the country, 21-5 record. And when it comes to the Big Ten, they are second in the conference behind only Michigan, who is the number 1 ranked team in the country. So they're in a pretty good spot right now. So Illinois, winners against their rivals Indiana, 71-51.
I'm just glad they're in the top 10 in the Big Ten.
Okay.
The top 10 in the Big Ten? How many teams in the Big Ten?
Like 50.
Yeah.
See?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Literally, if I counted, it would be terrible radio for the next 15 seconds. I think there's around 16 or 18. 16 or 18. There's way too many. Then they added all the teams from the West Coast a couple of years ago. So now you have random teams like USC and Washington and Oregon. And
USC is in the Big Ten?
Yes.
Yeah. That is freaking wild.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Just for basketball?
No, for all sports.
Football, yeah.
Yeah, the conference realignments a couple years ago made for pure chaos in college sports. There are teams on the West Coast, Stanford, Cal, that play in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Super dumb.
It doesn't make any sense.
Just like the
anything
Big
more messy
10.
than NCAA sports right now?
What'd you say?
Is there anything more messy than NCAA sports right now? It's very
Probably.
confusing.
Probably. Government would be up there.
My friend Spaghetti
Congress.
But the NCAA certainly is messy right now.
I'm not saying like necessarily bad, but just super messy, because to me it seems like the NCAA doesn't know what true north is.
I would argue that some of it's bad. There's no true direction
I'm not saying
of
it's
leadership.
good. I'm just saying they're trying to serve multiple masters, and some of them are conflicting. You can't do both.
There's a lot of underlying issues right now, and I think that a lot of it's getting covered up with the ratings for college football and college basketball are doing really well still. People are drawn to it right now because the competition has been good, but there is a lot of underlying issues right now in the NCAA. The SLU Billikens, they just keep on winning, Annie Fry.
25.
Nope.
6?
24.
24?
You were close.
Too much credit.
86-59 win over Loyola over the weekend. And they are now 12-0 in the Atlantic 10, which matches the 2013-2014 team for the best start in conference history. Man, they just keep on winning.
It's that best start.
I
forgot
Still
about
the best
that.
start.
Still the best start.
In school history.
When do
It is until they lose.
I guess so. It really is. It's crazy to think that they are a fluky buzzer beater away from being undefeated right now.
What game was the loss? How many games into the
Stanford,
season?
and it was
I know
like
that
6 games in.
So they
Early
were
season
they were 5-1.
tournament. Yeah, or 6-1, something like that.
Hmm.
A ridiculous, crazy, just throwing up, winging a prayer buzzer beater.
Loyola is one of the few schools that I would attend just based on liking the name of the school.
Well, Loyola is the one, if you remember, Sister
contribution to the
Jean.
show.
Do you remember Sister Jean when
Yeah.
she went viral a few years ago? Loyola went to the Final Four probably 8 years ago now. And Sister Jean was a nun at the school that just like captured America's heart. And she passed away recently. So I'm wondering, Loyola now is 6-20. So I'm wondering if maybe there's some correlation there. I don't know.
I don't think there is.
I think there might
You
be.
think Jesus loved Loyola more than other teams?
The power of Sister Jean's gone.
Yeah, I think Jesus loves Sister Jean more
I don't
than
know if Sister Jean was really the power. I think she would say that she gives.
Maybe
all
she
the
was
glory
the
to-
motivation behind the team.
And now the team has no motivation because
They-
that lady died.
NIL broke Loyola because at first it was all about going there because Sister Jean was there. Now it's all about money. Unbelievable. What is
Gotta find
happening in
another
college
nun.
sports? Mizzou also got absolutely thumped by Texas,
And then there were
85.
nuns.
I'm not even going to go to Loyola now.
68. And that is my college basketball.
Or my other
updates
favorite
from the
named
weekend.
school, Pepperdine.
How about Duquesne?
I wanted to go
like
to
that one.
Pepperdine.
I like Pepperdine.
The Concordia that was in Pepperdine.
There was some pretty notable news over the weekend for St. Louis City SC, and specifically some of the different signs, flags, banners that were going to be allowed at home matches. St. Louis City SC recently notified fan groups that some displays used in supporter sections in the past, specifically Black Lives Matter flags and Love Always Wins transgender rights banners, will be restricted during home matches this season. Team officials communicated this to representatives of several supporter groups during a season kickoff meeting held last week, according to members of those groups. I don't know if you guys remember this, or even the listeners. There's been so much news in the past 6 months, a year. But this was a pretty big deal in St. Louis when someone got kicked out of a St. Louis City game were they wearing a Trump hat? A MAGA hat. They got kicked out. And there was a lot of pushback.
There should be, because they have a bunch of other political signage that is permitted.
So this is addressing that.
To me, this is a response to, we're not going to have MAGA hats, but we're also not going to have BLM hats or flags or transgender hats or flags, that type of stuff.
I mean, this is good.
During the meeting, City SC officials announced a new interpretation of policies that deemed some items previously allowed season-long in the stadium as no longer approved, aside from various theme nights where they may be allowed on a game-by-game basis, according to Sam Wise, who's the co-founder of the Fleur de Noise fan group.
It's like when they have MAGA night.
Yeah. It'll be a lot of red there that night. Since its inaugural match, St. Louis City SC has used a code of conduct that expressly prohibits signs, symbols, or images for commercial purposes or for electioneering, campaigning, or advocating for or against any candidate, political party, legislative issues, or government action. The code itself hasn't changed, but the interpretation has been clarified to ensure consistency across all supporter groups.
I am A-okay with going to a place of entertainment and not seeing pride flags, BLM flags, or MAGA hats.
Me too.
Yeah.
I don't want to have that conversation. And I will be compelled, likely, to participate in the conversation in defense of what I support. Probably not antagonizing against what I wouldn't support unless it was pushed upon me specifically. Like if I were put on the spot, well then yeah, I'm going to have something to say. But I don't know about regulating whatever. I'm glad I don't have to make those decisions, but I am very happy to go to places that are supposed to be relief from all of those discussions and not have to deal with any of it. The difference here is that it doesn't seem like people were really getting involved in regulating that type of stuff until somebody came with one conservative message.
Yeah, right.
Like, one red hat. Well, we're gonna have to enforce some rules here. So that is what it is. That's not going to change. But if they're going to say no MAGA hats and also none of this other stuff, I would consider that a MAGA win.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way around it, like showing up with a tattoo across your chest or something. Tashara Jones.
Was such a specific one. Tashara Jones. I don't know if you can go into St. Louis City SC games shirtless, though. So I don't know if
only one way to find out.
Maybe if you had a shirt on. Speaking of shirtless, Ryan, how was Mardi Gras this weekend?
Oh my gosh,
it was all right.
Yeah,
it was a little rainy,
a little cold.
Yeah, it was cold.
Yeah,
and you could tell. What?
Do you want another story, Eddie?
I'm not even listening. I'm sorry. I have a headache. I'm medicated. Here,
yeah,
for the
one more.
Well, I guess that means it's Ryan's call.
Yep.
Oh, that's horrifying. Downtown St. Louis's Gateway Tower near the Arch has been placed into a receivership after its owner defaulted on a nearly $14 million loan. Did you guys hear about this?
No.
A judge appointed a court-approved manager to oversee the 21-story office building at 1 Memorial Drive, according to the St. Louis Business Journal, and keep operations running, including collecting rent, paying bills, and maintaining the property. The building has been up since 1966. It's located just west of the Gateway Arch, but it's seen its vacancy rise in recent years as major tenants have moved out. This was actually the building that KMOX was in until 2012. First Alert 4 relocated in 2023 to a facility it could own and expand to better support the tech and the future growth. Loan documents show the tower has valued at nearly $20 million and about 87% occupied when its loan was issued in 2019, but the occupancy has dropped to the low 50s since. And the city records show the building's appraised value has fallen to about $6 million.
Wow, that's a big fall.
In what, 7 years?
Yeah.
I hear you're buying property, Ryan.
Actually, I hear that and I go, dang, that's a pretty good price. I don't know if I have that kind of money, but
X's and Y's next on the Annie Fry Show. You got questions that you want to ask the boys or the girls in the room? Trisha's going to join us. Please text us. We love throwing your questions in the mix here. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Ask us your question. If you want us to include your name, you got to include that in the text as well. Back in a minute.
When no one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns, and the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
I'm Emma Grade, host of Aspire with Emma Grade, a podcast where I sit down with people who don't just dream big, they build big. From culture-shaping voices like Mel Robbins to leaders redefining success like Tracy Ellis Ross to game-changing entrepreneurs like Mark Cuban. Aspire is about mindset, ambition, and doing the work that actually moves the needle. If you're ready to raise your standards and take charge about the life and career you're building, Aspire is where you start. Follow and listen to Aspire with me, Emma Grade, an Odyssey podcast available wherever you get your podcasts.
100 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of St. Louis has been repairing and replacing garage doors. A century of trust in St. Louis. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis for same-day repair service and no extra charge for evening or Saturday service. Trust your friends at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com. That's overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
YouTube live chat poll today, is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? I'm going to highlight one comment we got from the text line. It says, Trump number 1. That guy does not even have time for conjunctions.
It just is what it is.
It is what it is. 314-241-9797, or verbs for that matter. If you want to text in and let us know what you think about this poll, is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? It is 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Consistently right.
It's a ritual.
97.1 FM Talk. St. Louis Conservative. X's and Y's.
All right, let's figure out the difference between boys and girls. Anyone have a question they want to start out with? Usually I ask that on the break and I forgot to.
Trisha said she does.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, Trisha.
Hi, nice to be here. All right, dudes. Do most of your close friendships still revolve around shared activities like sports, hobbies, or projects? Or as you age, do you talk about like deeper stuff, feelings, things like that?
Ooh, no. But I think I do have friendships now that they exist. We don't see each other very often, though, so it probably is still project-based. But we get together once or twice a year just to catch up. So
well, that's a little bit deeper then.
That's a little bit more than just project-based friendships. But it's because we used to be, we were college roommates and a lot of other things. So I think there are very few people like that, though, that we just get together just to get together. But it does exist more and more as I get older.
Nice.
All of my friendships with my bros are all centered around video games. That's
activity based.
But that's when we get together. That's when we can get together, and it allows us to get together without actually having to physically be present. Because one of them lives in Georgia, the other one has 2 kids, and schedules are hard at that point. And so it's just nice. Just every Monday night we can get together, and hang out.
Yeah. Cool. I have a question.
Okay.
Someone flirts with your spouse in front of you. Ryan, what's your immediate reaction?
That person doesn't have teeth. After
is that you think
after this
after or before? It's kind of offensive to your wife.
If they already didn't have teeth, then I guess I'd give them a pass.
Someone flirts with your wife and you're punching them in the mouth.
Well, I don't like it, and I'm going to do something about it. I don't know if I'm going to punch out all their teeth, but I'm definitely going to address it in some way.
Can you give me an example? Has that ever happened? Can you think of a time where you were uncomfortable and you assaulted somebody?
Yeah. The year was 1904.
That tracks. Go on.
No, I can't think of a time that has happened. I just don't think that happens a lot, because if you see a woman with a guy and you're a guy, you just don't do that.
What if you were at a party and maybe you were not with her, and have you ever, do you pay attention to that? If she's there and maybe you're not with her at that very particular moment and there's a man around her, are you paying attention to that?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Although we've been married long enough now and we have a very high trust. So I'm not sure that I'm on high alert for it, but I do.
But you're prepared
attention.
to assault.
Yeah. I bring my
quite a journey of polar opposites there.
I bring, what's that, the knuckle thing that they sell, the Tiger Lady.
Yeah, that's
the Tiger Lady.
Super believable.
Collects DNA.
The knuckle thing that you sell.
Uh-huh.
Brad?
I bring one of those.
Someone flirts with your spouse in front of you. Your reaction?
It's wholly and completely dependent on my wife's reaction, unless I'm standing right there. If I'm standing right there and bro has enough chutzpah to walk up and hit on my wife right in front of me, it'll be a confrontation for sure.
Like what?
I probably start with words. Like
Ryan. He starts with Tiger Lady.
Yep.
But again, it's how full of a full court press does he put on? I mean, if he's just like flirting with her, hitting on her, if he walks up and he touches her, yeah, it's physical right there. It starts physical right there, and it might just be a push all the way to throwing hands.
Are you in these situations? Are you thinking in this situation that your wife is uncomfortable? What if she's not uncomfortable?
I don't care. I'm going to immediate anger.
I think
I'm sure that she is going to have some feelings of her own, but I know what mine are.
I mean, the uncomfortable thing would make me angry. Her not being uncomfortable with it, her leaning into it would make me angry. So I think, yeah. I mean, initially it would be a protection thing.
Trisha, Mr. Trisha notices that a man is paying some attention to you, being a little flirtatious. What's his
I thought you were
reaction?
going to ask me how I would respond, which was...
I will.
Okay. I think he really doesn't do much. Maybe tries to get my attention or insert himself in a conversation and then defuse it. I think we trust each other enough. I don't know that he does much anymore. In the past, I think he would have been like, dude, what are you doing? Years ago. But now I think he'd probably afterwards be like, man, that guy was crazy.
There's a portion of time where my husband would just be flattered.
If somebody was hitting on him?
No.
He would be flattered if somebody came up and hit on you.
Yes.
I don't understand.
I mean, that is my reaction.
I was gonna say,
nice of
if
you.
someone comes up to Mr. Trisha and she's paying some attention, a little extra attention to him, your thoughts, your reaction?
Aw. I mean, just simply, that's nice. Like, nice try. Good for you. Like, I know he's a catch. I don't know.
I get hit on by old ladies a lot.
Yeah.
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 Like
Same.
a lot.
All the
I
time.
don't believe you.
I do. But it's got to be purely just for
Are they
fun.
giving you Werther's Originals or something like that?
He's giving them to them.
Yeah, no kidding. They want your candy.
He's like, I
that's
got
what they
candy,
want.
ladies.
They want your candy.
Come here, old lady.
There's no part of you that would see a man hitting on your wife and feel a little flattered by that?
If I'm there and he knows I'm there, no. If he does not have any idea that I'm there or that she's married, that's different. Because then I don't know how I would react. But if I just keep picturing myself sitting in a booth at a restaurant and some guy walking up,
Sits
I'm like, that's not going to happen.
We're all very different people, and I'm not speaking to anybody else's experience, but being a public figure, the attention that I can get, depending on the circumstances, the place, the thing, whatever, sometimes he's got a little goofy grin on his face. He's not worried about me, and I'm not worried about it, but I think there are times where he thinks that I'd probably be scarier than he would be if it got inappropriate, so I don't know.
Yeah, as a public figure, I just sign anything anybody brings up to me.
Trisha, if
including contracts.
You sign it as Annie Fry.
if somebody comes up to you, Trisha, or somebody comes up to your husband and is sitting on your husband, you're thinking it's cute.
Yeah, I mean, if it's overtly rude, like Ryan's scenario where we're sitting at a booth having dinner and some woman walks up and is like, I think you're hot. Let's go on a date. I'm going to be like, lady, we're married. We're eating dinner.
Right,
You know?
exactly.
But if we're at a party and somebody's flirty,
At least buy him
it
dinner
doesn't
so I don't
bother
have
me.
to make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if I saw someone come up and hit on Jared, I would be watching to see how he reacted, and I would be entertained by it also. I also don't think he would know it was happening. So I don't think
Yes, very true.
I would be like, she's kind of into you. And he'd be like, what are you talking about? And then I'd explain it and he'd be like, you think she was into me? And he'd be flattered.
Okay, reverse question. Have you ever thought that somebody was hitting on you and you find out later, no, they were not? Because I have.
Does not surprise me.
I'm not one to jump to those conclusions.
I was working in music radio once, and there was a record label rep who I was like, that lady is definitely hitting on me. And I was like, it's a little uncomfortable. I think I'm going to leave this situation. And then I was telling that to another coworker, and that guy was like, that girl is not hitting on you at all. She is a record label rep, and she is trying to be nice because she wants you to play songs.
That's the most Ryan Wiggins story in the history of time. Next question. You got one, Ryan?
Yeah. Does a successful woman intimidate you? Mainly for the guys, but I'd like to hear what the girls say too.
I will assess a successful man and a successful woman differently because I am a pretty strong personality. I will work to quickly assess if my position as a strong woman is going to be a problem for another strong woman, which if she's truly a strong woman, all of a sudden we should join forces and be unstoppable. You can be strong and successful and still be intimidated by other strong women. Would you say, how do you feel about that, Trisha? You're strong.
I think it is person to person based. I'm no more intimidated by a strong woman than I am a strong man if they are difficult to work with. If we can't collaborate, if we can't find some common ground, I get uncomfortable in those situations sometimes, but
especially in our industry where there are more men in management and powers positions of strength, even on the air, you're going to find a lot less women in talk radio in this genre than you are in others. So if there's like two of us and it's like, wait a second, I'm the girl here, but if you find out, no, we're kind of working towards the same thing, then all of a sudden you can become assets. What do you guys think?
Go ahead.
What's the question again? Rephrase the question.
Does a successful woman intimidate you?
No, but it's going to change the way we interact. I'm gonna end up treating you more like one of the guys than like
An unsuccessful one that you would treat like a woman.
Well,
I mean, yeah, let's
break
that down a little
puddle,
bit.
Ma'am. You don't have any money.
Huh.
Yeah. I think
Do you have a title? Yeah.
Like if we're working
drill down a little.
if we're working in the same industry, like it's different if I'm looking at somebody in a different industry and I recognize their success and stuff like that. That I'm gonna no different in the way I treat or think about them and be like, cool, good for you, great job. If I'm working with somebody, then it gets into that, like what you were talking about, collaboration mindset and stuff like that. But that kind of makes me, like, whenever it's a collaboration, it's like one of the guys kind of collaboration mindset that I get into. But that's just the way I collaborate with people is, I'm not, the interaction will be different.
I would say no to this question, although when I was younger, it probably would have more to be, like, especially with dating. You'd be like, well, if you've achieved a lot and I've achieved nothing, this feels a little weird. Like I'm not on the same level as you, so I'm not sure that you're going to like me. But I haven't dated in so long that I don't know how I would approach that question now either. Might be completely different.
Ryan, do I intimidate you?
As a successful woman, no.
You or me?
I don't know. You tell me. X is a wise question. Am I a successful woman?
We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Fridays are here again, and you know what that means. Join us for our Fish Fry Friday kickoff at Fish Fest. The crew will be live February 20th at Holy Trinity Serbian Orthodox Church. See the menu and learn more at 971talk.com/events.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
When it comes to lighting, Graybar goes beyond parts and products. We help contractors turn plans into smart designs, manage kitting and deliverables, and navigate local codes so you can stay on time and on budget. Smart, scalable, job site ready. That's not just lighting. That's like kicking your project into Graybar mode. Yep, Graybar does that.
Wait, Corey from Air Comfort Service? What are you doing in my basement?
Standing behind our work.
It's 9 p.m.
At Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation, we take pride in our work. If you need heating service, no matter the time of day or night, we're here to help with 24/7 emergency service.
So you're just going to stand behind my furnace?
Yeah, pretty much.
Can you hand me those paper towels then?
Absolutely. For heating service or HVAC maintenance, visit aircomfortservice.com. That's aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Little X's and Y's to wrap up the show. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Tell us, is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president? Yes or no? We'll have those results in 5 minutes. Brad, your next question? X's and Y's?
Yeah, what is a quiet concern or fear for women that men rarely think about?
Everything.
All literally, yeah, everything.
I don't know, whatever thoughts you could muster.
So you're afraid of everything?
No. I'm thinking about everything.
Okay.
You ever have moments where you don't think about anything?
Yes.
We don't.
Yes.
Are they during the show?
What?
Nope. Wait, come again. Worries that we have that, you have anything off the top of your head?
No, I think it's all the stuff we've talked about in the past, like the little day-to-day things that
It's
you
like
do.
minutia.
It is. Like you forget to file your taxes on time because I forgot to get all my paperwork together because I'm trying to make sure all the paperwork's that in the back of my head for a month now. I'm constantly trying to take care of taxes on top of everything else. So that's the first thing that comes to mind. But it is, like Annie just said, the minutia of life, like dropping the balls that you don't even realize you're spinning.
What do you worry about?
I don't know. I worry about
Nothing.
I worry about getting everything done in a given day, if that, just because I'm busy, and I don't know. I worry about finances probably sometimes, realistically, but I also don't worry so much that I can't. Here's the problem: the time that I worry is when I'm asleep, because I can't rationalize myself out of it. So, like, if I'm worried about something and I'm awake, I can tell myself that's not true. So, but
Even
if I'm
if it is
asleep,
true?
well, I can rationalize why it shouldn't be a worry. But when I'm half asleep or asleep and I'm worried about something in the night, I can't do that to get out of it. Not that I do it all the time, but that's when it hits me.
What about you, Brad?
I worry about. My biggest concern always is my wife. I always am concerned that I'm treating her the way she needs to be treated. Always have that question in the back of my head, no matter what. The other things that I worry about. This is going to sound maybe odd to you guys, but the kids in the youth group, I worry about them. They're in a different world, a different time that I ever was, and I worry about them because they face a lot of adversity and a lot of troubles and stuff that they don't even know about it, and so it's like a concern. But also I know that because I'm their youth pastor, I can't be there for them all the time, but I do care about them. I do worry about them. And then the last thing that I really worry about is booking for the show.
I worry about that too.
Understandable.
That works. I don't think that's gender specific. Next question: what do you think is the most difficult decade of a man's life?
1880s.
Well, tell us about your experience with them.
It was pure cowboy time.
Yeah.
You know, it was
Spurs, hats.
Yeah, dog eat dog world.
Mm-hmm.
So
medicine hadn't caught up to the weapons.
Exactly. Yeah. What could you trust? To answer your question,
thank you.
I would say the most difficult decade of a man's life is the teens. Because it is, I don't know, I would think that would be the most difficult decade of anybody's life because it is just so volatile. There's a lot of fun stuff, of course, but you just don't really know what you're doing. You don't know who you are. And I don't know if that's...
Don't you think there's some blind fun that takes place at that age, though, that
I'm
like
not saying
in your
there's not-
20s or 30s is a little more stressful?
Yeah, I'm not saying there's nothing good about it. It's just stressful because everything's new and it's, I don't know.
Trisha, your thoughts on the most stressful decade for a woman's life?
I think for me it was 15 to 25, so I
Huh.
straddled two of them because I was
A lot of big decisions.
growing up, forced to change habits and priorities and values and pay insurance bills. And
Yeah.
whatever.
I think the 20s are hard, but the
Very.
teens and even going into junior high, man, that is some rough stuff for sure. All right, the YouTube live chat poll for today is Donald Trump a top 3 U.S. president, yes or no? Do you have any more comments? Who do you think? Yes or no?
I'm going to say no because we just have to wait to see.
Brad?
I'm a no.
Trisha?
I'm a no, but I was afraid that was going to be unpopular.
I'm only a no because I think there's no way to know yet.
Me too.
But I think he absolutely might prove to be. I think he might actually save the republic. So I'm kind of inclined to say yes, just because I want it to be true. But 76% of you said yes. 3/4. Mark Reardon coming up next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Health Trends, sponsored by Wesley Financial.
Contact with nature quickly reduces stress. Researchers at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor found just 20 minutes during daylight spent sitting or strolling in a place where people feel in touch with nature significantly reduces the body's production of the stress hormone cortisol. The study's participants were asked to avoid aerobic exercise, reading, and electronic devices during their nature experiences. Just just going outdoors can make you feel better. I'm Margie Schaefer.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell, definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. Do you feel stupid for buying a timeshare? Don't. It's not your fault. You were most likely told you could rent it, and it was a great financial investment. And the deal was available today only. If this happened to you, contact your resort or Wesley Financial Group for help today.
Call Wesley now for your free exit information kit. 800-939-1441. 800-939-1441.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program may only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it could end your debt nightmare and save you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. For free information and to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, simply go online and visit DRA.com or call 800-535-1582. 800-535-1582. Again, that's 800-535-1582.